Hello there, good morning, and thank you so much for keeping faith with us here on Channel One Television. We'd like to say thank you to Chris Carter and Wahab Abdul Razak for holding the fort all the way from 7 a.m. up until now, even as we bring you a special coverage of that two-day national cleanup exercise. We're here on Monday, the 29th of June, when the rains fell upon us. They fell in volumes and in magnitude. The water receded. However, what it left in its wake is a story that is rather concerning. A story that exposes our inefficiencies when it comes to waste management in this country. And the president subsequently directed that we engage in 2 days of cleaning up, especially the flood-hit regions and the flood-hit communities. Some affected persons are still counting their losses. However, life must go on in order to prevent a possible outbreak of cholera and other health-related risks. So today, we've dedicated airtime to bring you a special coverage of that cleanup exercise as directed by the president. Now, even before I introduce my colleagues in studio, let me take you to Chado. Our presidential correspondent, Akusia Ochre, is joining us live. Hopefully, we get to see and hear what the president is up to within those areas. Akusia, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Nana. So not so a bright day. We can see pregnant clouds forming here. But indeed, it is going to be a busy day for government, residents, and citizens generally across the country as they partake in the flooding exercise and the cleanup exercise across the country. This exercise follows one of the worst flooding recorded in recent years, and the June 29 floods that claimed lives, displaced families, and affected more than 7,000 people. And so in your shots, you can see President John Dramani Mahama, who is leading government in this particular cleanup exercise. He just arrived here some 2 minutes ago at Chado. This is the Wawa Street, and personally, knowing this area as a resident, where we are currently, that is the Wawa Street, one of the places in Chado, or let me say Accra, that was badly affected by the floods. And so this particular visit by the president is very crucial. Now, Nana, before this cleanup exercise, there was a preliminary survey of key areas in Accra that was, spearheaded by the post-flood mitigation committee set up by government. Now, one of the key things they looked at was surveying some key places, mapping out where the problems could be, what exactly could be done to mitigate the flood anytime we witness that. And so the committee, one of the things they also recommended was the silting of drains, and also weeding and all sort of activities that they deemed fit, that if residents partake in, we are going to see some improvement when it comes to flooding across the country. And so in your shot is President John Dramani Mahama, of course, who I said earlier on is leading government in this exercise. And also there's the head of the Jospon group of company, that is the Mr. Siao Ejapong. That is from right. And then there's also the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Oklu, and then a key member of the anti-flood task force, that is Stan Dogbe, who happens to be the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of government, in charge of the government operations. And so that's what we see in your shot. The president is being briefed about what the exercise is all about. Of course, the military, the Ghana Armed Forces is a key member in this exercise, cleanup exercise. They have been here since as early as 6 o'clock, being on the ground, silting drains, removing filth from gutters and all that. So you see the president taking charge, holding the shovel and scooping some of the litter and the mud from the gutter into the humor.
I salute you, sir. I salute you, sir. I salute you, sir.
Get a place I can stand.
So you still seeing your shot. He is indeed portraying to residents and the citizens that he is not just going on a tour, as he was quote unquote bashed a few days ago when he went on a helicopter aerial tour of the flooded areas. So now he is on the ground partaking in the cleanup exercise, and the atmosphere here is one of the coordinated action, because we've been aside the Chado area that we've been to, or where we are currently, we've been to some areas like Nungwa and surrounding communities, and we've seen machines that have been deployed to remove the silt from drains, while the teams are clearing refuse that has accumulated in gutters and water channels. And Nana, we know that there's already a National Sanitation Day that was launched somewhere in 2014. That Sanitation Day takes place at least once in every month. Now we at Channel One TV, and of course the media in general, have been critical of the participation of citizens when it comes to the National Sanitation Day, and we've seen people who generally do not partake. We've heard from MMDs who complain about residents who do not partake in these activities. Let me say that the situation is quite different. We're seeing the participation of almost everyone in the area. I mean, those who are not going to work on the grounds, participating. But let me also be truthful to say that there are some onlookers who are participating. Okay, so we hear that the president is speaking.
You can't go. There's no way. You can't go. So is that the only place you can pass? And so in this exercise, let's make sure that after we bring enough capacity to be able to transport this silt and go and dump it somewhere appropriate. If we're able to do this for the next year or two, this drain will have enough capacity to be able to carry the water through. It is because it is half silted, so the volume of water it can take is diminished. And so let me congratulate all Ghanaians who've come out. I've gone around the city. I've seen the turnout has been very good. And after this, the military and other services are going to continue to dredge the main waterways so that these drains can have an outlet to send the water to those wetlands. And so this will be a continuous exercise. And at least once a month, let's set aside one day and all of us come out and clean the city. And with the help of the waste management companies, we'll be able to keep this city clean and also free of flooding. So thank you everybody who came for this exercise. Thank you.
Use your microphones. Your phones.
So you had the President John Dramani Mahama just speaking there to members of the anti-flood task force and also the post-flood mitigation. He's still on the Nana. The government has already said that today's exercise is not intended to be a one-off event, but the beginning of sustained efforts really to improve sanitation and reduce the risk of future flooding in the country. And we've heard the president say that apart from the military that are coordinating this particular exercise, the MMDCs are also in charge, district chief executives, and all security services.
The problem is here. The problem is here.
The question for, like you said, a very long time. So we have to keep at it every time to ensure that we don't follow the.
My problem now is how do we silt under this bridge?
Yes, it's very small. Fortunately, we have a group of young guys who are able to go under. So if you're able to desilt to the lowest level, they can desilt. You have a long shovel as well, go under and then move it as well. You can have a free flow of water.
Because now you can see that it's flowing
It's
this
flowing
way.
this way, yes, please.
Yeah.
So, His Excellency, moving further, asking the MC for the area to ensure
So the president is still paying critical attention to the work that is being done by the military together with the Ghana Police Service on the grounds. Of course, the Greater Accra Regional Minister is also on the grounds to also ensure that what has to be done is being done. The expectation from government is that beyond today's exercise, residents will also, play a critical part by avoiding indiscriminate dumping of. Of course, we had a president. Zones or buffer areas to people, and they have been in the waterways, and so the president for the clearance of these buildings or infrastructure in the waterways. And apart from the cleanup exercise that we are seeing today, which will continue tomorrow, we are expected to see that demolition exercise come to being very shortly.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Okay.
For now, the cleanup exercise continues here. The president is also expected to move from Chado to inspect a number of flood-prone locations before the exercise concludes today. Tomorrow, it continues. We've seen key, government players apart from the president. We've seen the vice president. We've seen members of parliament who are on the grounds as well, taking charge of their areas and ensuring that the cleanup is ongoing. Like I was saying earlier before the president started speaking, noticing the sanitation day and its participation recently, we've seen that it has been poor engagement from the side of residents. But this particular cleanup exercise we are seeing today, we are seeing a number of people who are participating. And also to say that there are a few onlookers who, just come by the roadside to observe, like this is a Netflix movie that is being indeed, the work is being done, to be honest, very well coordinated. But per my observation, what I am yet to see is rubbish, filth that is being collected from the gutters will be disposed of. There's been conversations about, these gutters sometimes being cleaned up and, left by the banks of the gutters. And so people are really questioning if these filth and then these rubbish will be cleared before another rains come in. So we are still at Chado. Where we are is the Wawa Street. The president is taking the tour and participating in the cleanup exercise in the area. Let me also add that the president is also a resident of Chado. He lives in Chado, and so it's just prudent to see him start from his area and then move to other communities where he was visiting. Heavy security on the ground. We're seeing members of parliament. We're seeing the MMDC for the MC for the area here. A lot of media capturing the events. And where we are walking towards is a gutter that the Kojo River passes through. The Kojo River is one of the key factor of the flooding incident that happened here at Chado. Apart from the rains that brought the water, we understand that the Kojo River has not been dredged for a very long time, and when it rained, we saw you're a resident here. What can you tell me about the Kojo River and how the flooding incident happened recently?
Okay, the rain started Sunday morning around 1 o'clock and continued raining up to the following day, Monday. Then it started flooding around here. So we stay around here. We call a Nedmo. We call Nedmo, fortunate people to come and rescue us. So those who live around here, it's only an excavator who came and tow their vehicles, because you can't move car from around here.
So what you are saying is that all the people we see in this area, including the buildings, the mansions we are seeing, were all affected?
Affected, everybody around here.
Okay.
Everybody was affected.
Okay. The cameraman is a bit far from me, trying to capture the president's walkthrough in the area. But from where I stand, I can see some houses. Sorry.
It's one of the former ministers.
Yes, we understand that one of the former ministers is here. We are here to know which person exactly that is. But I can see a number of, wooden, like the debris, really, that have been swept from the homes and are by the roadside.
About 3 years back, this area there was no building.
About 3 years?
Yeah, 10 years back, there was no building around here.
So it means that these buildings sprang up recently?
Here except as what do you call it? As Ramsey Sat. So when the water flow, come and stay here. They later go back. But now people have money, so they come and fill here and build. So this is the river.
Okay, so this is the Kojo River, we understand. So like I was saying earlier, one that has been identified as the major cause of the flooding that happened here in Chado. So we're just trying to, so there you see the rubbish that has been swept all the way into the river. So we just try and get close to the president, so when he speaks we can capture.
The water that comes here is a lot.
Yes.
It's a lot. So
this is the main drain.
yes, this is a cordial.
Cordial.
Yes.
Cordial.
That also fits into the Kweshe Lagoon.
Okay.
So as it receives that volume from upstream and we narrow it here, the water now has to find its way into the communities through there.
But what are these iron rods doing here? So they were trying to build a wall.
Trying to build a wall to direct the flow.
Yes.
But they bend it here so sharp.
Yeah.
And water doesn't have that. So as soon as it finds other ways, it goes into the community.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
All this has been encroachment on the stream.
So they forced it to 10. And then when it goes, they force it to 10 again. Okay.
So
but we need to come and clear all this rubbish from there so that it can flow freely. Okay. Yeah. So let them come and clean up this outlet, and then cut these branches and things from here, so that I can at least the little water. You see, there's water flowing in it, so that I can drain that water. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I mean, the problem is obvious.
Yes, sir.
Most of these are human interventions. I mean, these houses that they build there, it forced the stream to bend. You know. All right. Thank you.
So the President, John Dramani Mahama, directing that there is an immediate clearance of the debris in the Kojo River. And yeah, we are still continuing the tour from here. Like I said, not so a bright day, pregnant clouds still forming, and we just hope that we don't experience another rain while the cleanup exercise is ongoing. The President will be heading to some very critical areas as well. His vehicle on standby to another location. And so, Nana, we are heading to another location where the President will continue his participation, his survey, recce of areas that were badly affected by the floods. So that has been our report from Chado, Nana.
Very well, Akusia, thank you so much. Akusia Ocho is our presidential correspondent. In the company of the president, we saw the minister in charge of local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs, Ahmed Ibrahim. We saw the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Linda Akwili Obenewa Oklu. We saw the Deputy Chief of Staff in charge of operations, Stan Dugbe, among other dignitaries, including the local authorities touring the Chado area, one of the most affected communities during that Monday, June 29 floods here in Accra and in other parts of the country. Back in studio, I'm privileged to have the Chief Corporate Communications Officer for the Jospon Group, Sophia Kujoji, join us. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you. It's good to have you. And then we have the head of current affairs here at ChannelOne TV and City FM, Fred Tete Jabado, also here. Fred, good morning.
Good morning.
It's good to have you. Right. Sophia, let me start from you. We saw the devastation, or if you like, the devastating nature of the floods on that fateful Monday morning. When it was happening and when you were seeing all the reports, as someone who communicates for a leading waste management company, what thoughts were running through your head?
Thank you very much, Nana. So I remember that day around 4:30 a.m. It was as if somebody was pouring water behind my window. So I opened the window. I was like, whoa, is it rain? I got scared because the rate at which it was coming was quite scary. And then as the story started coming in, I mean, I started making calls to some colleagues and receiving messages. I was quite sad, very sad. Very sad because, I mean, rains are inevitable. Flooding, yes, even the advanced countries do have flooding. But some of the things that is causing some of the flooding in our society, I believe we have control over it, but we have not controlled it. And so sitting back and watching it, it was heartbreaking for me because I was like, oh dear, we have done this again. And to think that this is something, as a company, Just Born, we have over the years tried to educate people about. We have tried to, do some works to ensure that the devastating nature of the flooding is not as we saw, on that Monday. And so it's quite heartbreaking for me as a communicator. It's as if you've been talking. Are people listening at all? Are they listening? What have we not said about how people indiscriminately, dispose of waste? What have we not said about how people deliberately put waste in gutters, especially people who carry their waste in sacks and poly bags, just waiting? It's as if they're hiding in a corner, waiting for the rains to start. Then they just pour it in there. And we forget that, look, when you do that, you might think you are free, but it will go and come back and hit you, because when such, it's sad, and I do sympathize sincerely and wholehearted. My prayers are with the families that have lost, loved ones and property. Nobody should go through that. Nobody. I can't imagine how it feels like, and so my heart's out with them. But, we do some of these things not thinking about the consequences. What is the impact? Look at us building houses, as they're talking about, in waterways.
Exactly, yeah.
Have we become so rich that we've forgotten humanity? That, yes, I've bought plots of land at a place. I tell the story about a friend who sent money to the father to buy a property for her, land for her. He bought the land at Dansuman last stop somewhere. Right. When it rains, you don't go there because you won't find the land.
You find water.
You find water. So when you ask, oh, Daddy, so where's my land? Oh, you wait, we'll go there, we'll go there. You have to wait for the dry season to come before you can go and see the land. Once it starts raining, the land does not exist again. So then when you have money, what do? You go and buy more sand and fill it because you have money, and then you build on it. Forgetting that it's not just about your comfort. Think about the others, to think about posterity. And I believe some of these things, if we are able to, take care of it, yes, it will rain. It's God's world. It will rain. Floods may occur, but we may, by the grace of God, curb some of the consequences, the impact, that it's having on the devastation that is bringing to our society. So for me, I think this is another wake-up call. We always say that we are waking up. It looks like we are. Our waking up is a bit too.
The bed is probably too cold.
I know. we in our minds we are awake, but in our eyes are just going like this. And I think we need to go beyond what we're doing now. We have to wake up with the consciousness that it's not just about me. What about her? What about him? What is my action doing to them? Because at the end of the day, the sicknesses and everything it brings, we are all going to suffer it.
Right.
Anyway, let me leave it here.
Right.
Yes.
I'll come back to you on the reality of our sanitation situation.
Yes,
but
please.
Fred, from today's exercise, what are your expectations?
And I expect that we are able to clean majority of the litter and the garbage around. What we forget is that after the rains, they expose so many things. You see, we've always been talking about people building in waterways, people filling in places where they shouldn't fill. But there's one thing we did as a people which we should never do again. How we manage our waste, where we keep our waste, and what we do to our waste. This flood has exposed us and shown that we don't manage our waste properly. We as individuals and human beings who have the responsibility first to ourselves. I'm not even talking about the state, but first to ourselves to ensure that we are keeping our communities, our homes clean, making sure that our garbage is well disposed, have not performed as expected of us. Because when you look at the rains which came and the floods which occurred and the kinds of things we saw all around in the drains, how our drains were choked, how people were pouring waste when it started, and where we find ourselves, we are also partly to be blamed. So today with this exercise, what I expect is that first, there's a change in the way we think and do things. Because you see, this morning we were having a conversation and someone made a comment and says that this cleaning we are doing will not end anywhere if we don't clean our minds.
True. That's where it should start from.
If we don't clean our minds. What I expect at the end of today, after seeing all we see and getting all we have put out of the way, is to clean our conscience and our minds. To know that there is a proper way of dealing with waste.
Right.
There's a proper way as individuals to deal with waste. We don't just litter around. We don't just drive and be throwing things out. We don't just keep garbage in our homes and wait for rains to come and go and throw them in the rains for the water to carry away.
To where?
To where? We don't just sit in our homes and say, when the assembly comes and say, pay this amount of money for your garbage to be collected, you won't pay, so you are keeping it. This exercise at the end of it today and tomorrow, for me, the most important thing is we learning and cleaning our minds and reshaping and resetting our minds on litter, garbage, and waste management.
Very well, very well. So back to you. What's the reality we have to deal with as a people when it comes to sanitation in this country?
So the reality we have to deal with is attitude. Attitude and law enforcement.
Right.
Because, as you said, if people do not change their minds, right, we will clean and clean and clean. I mean, we've always pulled out newspapers about how in 1963 there was a cleanup exercise in Ghana. Our former president, late Jerry Rawlings, entered into the gutters to clean with us.
Yeah.
President Kufuor did his bit. Late President, what's his name? Late President Atta Mills did his bit. President Kufuor did his bit, even created a whole Ministry of Sanitation. Our president now, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has started. He's revived the National Sanitation Day and all. All these are beautiful. But if people do not change their mindset, until people come to the realization that, look, this is not the place for waste. It has to be in a bin and it has to be taken to the properly designated place for it to be disposed of. We will continue to have this conversation. You know why? Because people will even ask you about, where do you want us to take it to? You keep it where it's supposed to be. There are those who are responsible for collecting it. And then don't let us forget that MMDAs, one of their core mandates is waste management. So when government calls on them to take care of that, he's saying the right thing. But as a people, we need to come to that consciousness that we have to. Now, one of the things people also talk about is, when I'm in town and there's waste, where do I put it? I remember at a point we even had receptacles along the streets. Where are they? Where are they? You see, my challenge with us is that we are not very deliberate about doing things. We love to see the beautiful things that others are doing, but we are not intentional about doing. We talk about Rwanda and places like that. What they do is that there is proper enforcement of laws. Yes, because people have been told to dispose of their waste well. But it's not everybody there. Doing the right thing, I don't think comes naturally to people. Everybody wants to be free. Oh, let me just do what I feel like doing and all that. And what do I feel like doing this morning? Just hitting you with this. So should I go ahead and do that? Once I do that, there should be somebody that says, no, yes, you want to do that, but you don't have the right, because he also has his freedom to protect. You know, so waste management, we are doing so well in terms of sanitation. And I must say that even though we complain so much about some of this is some of the things that have won Ghana such recognition in the world. Global recognition for our sanitation. Why? Because for for us to get to this point, there was a sustained way of maintaining, the environment. Yes, there's been a break, which has also affected us a bit, but I think that the most important thing is, what do we as a people, until I see it as my personal responsibility, he spoke about it. Until I see it as my responsibility, you see it as your responsibility, then individually we take it to our homes. Then in the home, every house sees it as their responsibility to dispose of waste in the right way. And then from home, we go to our offices. From our offices, we come to society. Then together, we can all say that we have a clean environment. But if we don't, for now, there is so much going on in this space. In fact, waste management has even moved from just waste collection to waste transportation to waste treatment into various levels. And so we are moved waste management from that linear concept to a circular economic concept where we are bringing value out of waste. But do we as a people appreciate the fact that waste has moved beyond just disposing of it into a valuable resource that can be used and reused to build our societies? So we need a lot of, and you agree with me that, I always say this, that Zoomlion is one of the companies that does so much public education. So much of it. There's not a single, it sometimes irritates people. Unfortunately, but you see, waste is a daily generation thing. You can't say that, oh, today we are done, so we are going, next week we'll come back. No, it's a daily generation thing. So we have to keep talking and keep encouraging people, if that's what I should say, if it's encouragement. But you should know that the way you dispose of your waste today will have an impact on the health, not just making your environment clean, but even your health is impacted. And once your health is impacted, productivity is impacted. And once productivity is impacted, our economy will dip. True. And so it's a whole cycle of stuff that we all need to have that consciousness, to be able to say that, look, for us as a people, for me as an individual, this is what I want to do to help society. And once everybody takes up their role individually, we will be able to then have a cleaner environment. But we have started from somewhere. Sanitation in Ghana, I would say, has moved from one level to another level. We shouldn't allow it to dip. We should just sustain that campaign and let it go and increase it to the level. Today, other African countries are reaching out to us, because they have seen something good that we're doing. Why should we dip? We can only go up,
True.
Yeah.
Right. I know that we didn't wait for today. Some exercises have already been happening. We even partnered at a point for the Clean Up Accra campaign together with the Ghana Police Service and the NADMO.
Yes.
But looking at the aftermath of the flooding, at what scale are we doing this operation today?
I think today's is massive. Massive in the sense that, the president declared it. And when I was driving here, I started smiling to myself. I saw people really in gutters, cleaning, cleaning in front of their. It's beautiful to see that everybody has heeded to that call and people are doing something to help. What we did initially was just Zoomlion saying that, look, we used to be the ones that are clearing the streets and making sure that these things do not happen. And we did. Look at the work we did at Wager. We sent dredgers there to clear the place. When it rained again, I saw taxis and other cars stuck in sand. And where did it come from? We had already cleared it. This came from where people have put up the buildings.
Uphill.
And so it started coming down again. What is needed now? We have done something. Today's level is massive, and I want to encourage more people to come out. In fact, the Gamancha himself is also on the streets. People should just come out and let's do it. I have seen people all over. Some, you realize that they don't even have the tools. But the little they have, they're doing something. Women are sweeping in front of their homes. It's beautiful. it's beautiful. It's great to see what is happening today, and I'm sure it will continue tomorrow, but it shouldn't end tomorrow. It shouldn't end tomorrow. Yes, please.
Have we had any logistical challenges so far?
So far, I think that this is where Zoom Lion, I want to commend the executive chairman and founder of Zoom Lion Ghana Limited and his team. We have deployed so many thousands of logistics across the nation. In fact, right now, I'm sure we have built what you're calling a command center at the Ministry of Local Government and J Plan Pool, where people can call out. I remember when Akusia was talking, she spoke about her worry being the fact that waste, people are gathering the waste and they're putting it by the roadside. Yes, we are deploying, and trucks and other logistics for them to take care of that. So there are people who have been designated to some of these areas. So once you call them, they'll be able to help you, to go and clear some of this. But Zoom Lion, our contribution to this has been the deployment of major, massive, equipment and logistics to ensure that we are not just talking about
as well as personnel.
Oh yes, personnel. Personnel. Thousands of personnel are on the streets. Zoom Lion is a subsidiary of Jospon Group, right? Today, the entire Jospon Group, which has been clustered into 9 clusters for ease of administration, is out there, different clusters, financial services, commercial and allied services, technical and logistics, ICT, everybody is on the streets today to supervise and ensure that whatever is being deployed is being used for the purposes for which it's been, deployed, and people are doing what is expected of them. So there's been massive logistical, deployment, massive human deployment, and we personnel, and we believe that in collaboration with all the others, we'll be able to achieve something massive today. Yeah.
Right. You mentioned the command center.
Yes.
So there's one at local government ministry and there's one at J Plan. Like, how do people reach out to them? Are we able to put out a number?
I might have to give you one of my colleagues' numbers who is there, and then he can then help. So, because we had the beauty of it, as I was saying earlier, is that even some corporate institutions approached us to say, we want to be part of this. Can we get logistics from you, to do this? We've had a number of corporate institutions approach us, and it's so beautiful, So we've directed them to the local government place to see how they can receive support from there. But I can give you the number for Abeku Morgan, who can then help them out. If you want me to do that right now.
While you're looking at that number, let me come back to Fred. I mean, on a casual look, we can map out some of the most affected areas. What is your expectation from community members in these areas?
So we look at the most affected areas. You look at Chado area where the president was in. You look at Alajo. You look at the Odona and Abaka area. Look at the Malam Weja area. These are some of the areas we saw were most affected during the last time. What I expect of residents is that they come out in their numbers. Usually when it gets to some of these activities and the exercises, you see the same group of people who are expected to go out there and go and engage in the cleaning, and others who now prefer to sit in their homes. But you see, what happened during the floods the last 2 weeks shows that it's not a group of people who will be affected.
Exactly.
It is the entire community. Regardless of where you are, you may be affected. So for me, I expect that people put away pride.
Sorry. Maybe you can take some water. Well, you're still watching our special coverage of the general national cleanup exercise, which is happening across the country, especially in flood-hit areas. We've seen videos of the president himself engage in the exercise. We understand the vice president, Her Excellency Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman, is somewhere in the Nungwa areas. We've seen the government chair in the company of the Mayor of Accra within the Agbobloshi Enclave, also engaging in the exercise. People from all walks of life, community members engaging in the exercise. And it speaks to that communal spirit that we have as a people. And that's what Fred Tejabano is speaking to now. Fred, if you can land on that.
Yes, so people have put away their pride. People have put away all those things and come and join, because at the end of the day, it's a communal thing. It's to the benefit of everyone. You look at years ago, so you look 15, 20 years ago, we used to live very communal. These kinds of cleanups were not strange to us.
True.
I grew up around Adabraka some years ago, and you could see either every month or every 2 weeks, people come out to clean.
Communal labor.
Communal labor. People come out to clean as a community. Over the years, we've lost that communal kind of living, where now we live very individualistic, family-based, very nuclear. So everybody is thinking about themselves and forgetting about the entire good of the community. The issue is, once you start living like that, then it means that you need to also start doing things which will ensure that the community is clean. So you are cleaning your surrounding and ensure that you are not going to affect, you're not going to, but we are not doing that.
Right.
We are not doing that. We want to live very individualistic, but we are also not doing the things which would ensure that living as individuals and smaller families, it wouldn't affect the entire point. We are still doing things, and when people are called upon to come and help in community cleaning, nobody comes, or very few people come. This flood is a wake-up call to all of us, that it is time for us to ensure that we come together as a people to clean our surroundings. Because you see, there are shared areas in every community. So even though you live you are in your building, you are in a house, who takes care of that shared area within the community? This is the time for us to come out. People should put away everything. Look, you may have so much money, you may have so many cars, but at the end of the day, when there is rain, we saw what happened. People who never thought that their homes would be affected. People who thought that, oh, for me, I'm safe, I'm fine. I can take care of myself. They needed help. Because someone within the community had done something which came along to affect you. So it's time now we forget about me and my family and look at the community and come out. And this is a chance. The whole government says, let everybody come out. And you see, and I'm very happy because there are a number of people, look at institutions, people are out cleaning.
Indeed.
So we need to ensure that we all come out to clean.
Very well. Let me make a quick stop in the Ashanti region. Tawfiq is joining us. Tawfiq, good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I hope you're well.
Yes, please. I'm well. And you?
I'm doing well too. Great stuff. How's the exercise going in Kumasi?
Kumasi, the exercise began around 6 a.m. this morning. So far, so good. I will tell you that the exercise is very smooth. Just that some kind of people are not complying with the directives here in the region. Per our engagement with them, what they tell us is that the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly have built to provide some kind of tools for them to embark on the exercise. But what I can tell you is that the exercise is very smooth here in the region. Currently, we are moving around with the mayor of Kumasi, Richard Ofori Ajimambodi, where we are now in the Opoku trading section in the central business district of Kumasi. We visited the Forestry Commission, we visited the Toyota Ghana, and then asked me, most of the institutions are complying with the directive. That the traders, some of them are complaining that KMA has failed to, provide them tools to work.
What's the state of trading activities today in Kumasi, especially the Central Business District? Have traders, you just mentioned that some say they don't have the tools to work, but are their shops open?
no shops are opened as I'm speaking to you. Most of the areas that we visited this morning, as at before you called, most of the shops are closed. Most of them are waiting for the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly to issue the directive to open their shops. So most of the shops are closed for now.
I know ordinarily the plan would be to go through the densely populated areas, so the various trading hubs and all. Have you been able to visit any of the residential areas, and what is the level of compliance in these areas?
Okay, this morning, like I indicated earlier, before coming to the Central Business District, I visited Aspa, where the divisional command were embarking on some exercise, and then I visited some areas within the Oforuko municipality to check the level of compliance. Most of the residents were cleaning up their vicinity, and then I moved from the Oforuko to also check areas within the Kumasi Metro, areas like the Subin, areas like Asafo. Most of the areas that we visited within KMA are also complying with the directive by cleaning their surroundings to ensure that the initiative by the president is well complied.
Right, you have a peculiar situation in Kumasi, and I'm making reference to the OT landfill site. Prior to this exercise, we've put out several reports of, if you like, refuse-laden tricycles that have parked outside of the landfill site, unable to dispose of due to a breakdown of some equipment. What assurances or what is the communication regarding the final disposal site of all the waste that will be cleaned or cleared from Kumasi today?
Dana, before I come to your question, earlier the KMA boss, Richard Ofori-Ajimambodi, instructed some its guard to demolish some section of trade shops here at the Opoku Trading. According to him, that the people who are trading there have failed to comply with the directives because their surroundings were not clean. So he instructed for the demolition of that particular structure, and he has also instructed that they should come to KMA for their seized goods. So that's information coming in now. So when it comes to the final disposal of the refuse here in Kumasi, what we understand is that KMA are putting in measures to ensure that the place, the OT landfill is packed on its feet. But we also understand that they will filed a report about the OT landfill site. There are several initiatives the machines there are repaired. So what I also understand is that the machines are repaired for now. So the tricycle operators who are good to dump their waste now are not facing any challenges. So the KMA is giving us assurance that they are, they've put in measures to also get, a different disposal, site for Kumasi. But for now, they are working on what to do to ensure that they get a very good place for another final disposal site. So the OT landfill site now is back on its feet. So what we understand is that the waste collect, the way that they will collect here will be transferred to the OT landfill site.
Tovik, are you able to gauge the scope or if like the scale of the exercise this morning? We would just like to have an idea of the type of equipment, the number of personnel, and the areas that will be covered.
This morning, like I said earlier, currently some KMA officials are working here in the Central Business District to ensure that they collect all the sand on the streets of Kumasi, so that we will not get those debris, getting back to the gutters where it will cause some kind of flood So they are ensuring all the, so Nana, let me show you some of the exercise ongoing here. So like you can see in your shots, these are officers from the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, trying to collect all the debris here on the streets of the Central Business District. So what we understand is that they will do this, and then they will get some of the traders who are not complying with the directives to also, make sure that they also go through similar exercise to ensure that Kumasi is kept clean. Like you can see in your shots, the mayor of Kumasi is engaging with the media about the directives of how the exercise is ongoing here. So we can listen to the mayor briefly.
Mitsubishi cars no also na omo adwuma efo nyina e wa abonten if you oye ko baby let's say so je fi pay me in house of excellence on se ko do on to say omo mo dan mu nyina fa ba me yes the project ye ba select adwuma efo ene first national bank document man, that baby is easy. The whole my bag. Thousand up for it. Not for it, man. For nobody, you know, my bag and grow. Yeah, what? Now, possible for the whole edge man. Now, yeah, baby.
So, Nana, that's Mayor of Kumasi, engaging the media on how the exercise is ongoing here in the Central Business District. So he is, kind of telling the media that they've visited the Toyota Ghana to see the level of compliance by their staffs, and then some other institutions within the Central Business District. So, like you can see in my shots, there is one of the tricycle, waste collected here to ensure that the debris collected on the streets are disposed in the tricycle, so that it can be transferred to the OT landfill site as a final disposal site. So this is the brief about what is going on here in the Central Business District of Kumasi. And like I said, it's a 2-day exercise. So today is for the institutions within the Central Business District, i.e. the Immigration Service, the Forestry, the prisons, the Ghana Police Service, the military, and then the other institutions. So tomorrow will be around KU, Alaba, Dr. Mensa, and then other areas within the Kumasi Metro. So today is residential and then the institution. So tomorrow will be the bigger one, which will be the Central Business District itself. So if you are talking about the Central Business District itself, that's the Dr. Mensa Central Market and then the Alaba area, because we understand that the Alaba area, it will take some time to get a place back on track because of how the nature of the sanitation issue there is. Because when you are using from Alaba to
Hello, can you hear me?
What we understand is, yeah, I can hear you. And I can hear you.
Right, Tofik. Thank you. We'll leave it there for now, but we'll come back to you as and when you have more updates for us. Tofik Mohammed is our Ashanti Regional Correspondent, bringing us updates from the Ashanti Regional Capital, Kumasi, known as the Garden City. And we understand the exercise is dealing with the areas where we have several of the state institutions. And then tomorrow, knowing that it's a 2-day exercise, we'll move into some of the other commercial areas within the capital. So far, do we have the numbers for the command centers?
Yes,
Let's put it out there so that people can call.
Before I call out that, I just want to give you some numbers.
Right.
I told you about the logistics that we are deploying,
Exactly.
Over the place. So we have sent out in Greater Accra alone. This is just Greater Accra. We have deployed 3,000 personnel.
Okay.
We have 100 compactors, tipper trucks,
skip tracks, and payloaders.
Right.
We have deployed Wellington boots, about 2,000, reflective jackets, about 3,000, hand gloves, about 3,000, nose masks, about 20,000,
Wow.
shovels, about 1,000, and over 800 wheelbarrows.
Wow.
Now, as I said, we have set up a command center at the local government ministry, and the numbers to reach out to are 020-863-0942. That's Dr. Kusi. 020
Right.
863-0942. You could also reach out to Abeku on 0244-930-736. Abeku on 0244-930-736. And
This is Abeku Morgan.
Abeku Morgan.
Before people call you and say Santana.
Abeku Morgan. Abeku Morgan. So anybody who requires, I mean, like I said, other corporate institutions have approached us to see how they can also be part of the whole exercise. So they can reach out to
Let me
people.
quickly move to Alajo. That's
Right.
Okaikwe Central. Isaac Ofer is standing by to give us some updates. Isaac, good morning.
Good morning, Nana.
Great, thank you so much. Where in Alajo are you? Because somewhere last week we were by the main drain and we could count about 20 cars in that drain, swept into the drain by the flood waters. The MCE had embarked on an exercise to evacuate these vehicles from the drain. Has that been done?
So that I'm finding it a bit difficult to hear you.
I'm asking about the situation.
Hello, Nana.
Right. Is it better? Can you hear me?
Yes, please. Yes,
Great.
please.
Tell me about the situation with the main drain in Alajo.
So, okay, so Nana, good morning once again. And I'm coming to you live from Alajo. So as I'm talking to you right now, the president is here. The finance minister is here. The Greater Accra Regional Minister is also here. And the president came to inspect the drainage system here, how the whole place is being, and whether there are still rubbish or garbage in the drainage system. But when we go here, there are a bit of rubbish in here, and also there's a car which the tractor is trying to pull out of the drainage, but it seems he's finding it a bit difficult. He's finding it a bit difficult to take it out, but I couldn't get closer because we were asked not to get closer to the president. So I don't really know what he spoke to them about. But for what I can tell you is the president is here to make sure residents are also encouraged to support the efforts to keep Alajo and Greater and Ghana as a whole clean.
Tell me about the places you've been to so far. I know that you set off with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. Tell me about the areas you've been to so far and the nature of the exercise.
Okay, so if I get it clear, I get it clear. This morning we were with the mayor and also the government chair. We started our journey from Tudu, we went through Agbogbloshing. From Agbogbloshing, we came through Circle, which most of the shops there are closed, and most traders are also helping in keeping the city clean. So I can tell you point blank today, really.
We seem to be having some difficulty with Isaac Ofer's line, so we'll rework them and get him back on to update us on the areas that he's been to and how the exercise is panning out so far. Isaac, we'll come back to you for some more updates, so you keep following up on the exercise and, of course, with the dignitaries that you are and what their level of contribution is or has been so far regarding the National General Cleaning exercise following the flooding of Monday, June 29. Back in studio, I have Sophia Kujoji. She's the Chief Corporate Communications Officer for the Just One Group of companies, which has leading waste management company Zoom Lion as a subsidiary. Fertete Jabano is also in studio. He's the head of current affairs here at ChannelOne TV and City FM. I understand Akusia Ochere is back on the line. She's a presidential correspondent. Let me touch base with her real quick before I come back in studio. Hello, Akusia. Thank you once again. We understand the president is in Okaikwe Central. Is he along the main drain, and what sort of activity is happening now? Hello, Akusia. Very well. We're working to get Akusia on the lines, but as you can see, the president and his team have arrived at Alajo. That's the main drain. Exactly a week today, that's last Friday when I was there, we could count about 20 vehicles in that drain. The MCE for Kaikwe Central, that's a Coldridge, had, if like a mast or mobilized some young men to assist in removing the vehicles, and fortunately for him, he had support from dredge masters, and so they had brought a crane. So the young men will go into the drain, and there's this this heavy rope that they use that has the metal thing that I don't know what the name is, but that's what they use. So they tie it onto around the vehicle, and then the crane goes in the sort of scoops the vehicle and pulls it out of the drain. I am sure between then and now, they've been able to remove almost all of them. However, you can see in your shot, work still ongoing within the drain. This should give you an idea that this particular vehicle may have proved very difficult for them to remove. Now, while they were at it, so while the young men go into the drain to tie the rope around the vehicles, the crane, what it was doing on land was to clear the structures that had been built very close to the drain. So sort of an evacuation of vehicles from the drain and a demolition of structures along the banks of that drain. And if you know this area, it was one of the worst affected areas when the rains came down that fateful Monday night. And these are videos from that day when it rained. You can see the amount of refuse, waste. No, this is not AI generated. This is Ghanaians generated. This is human generated waste. And clearly you can tell that people waited for the water to come up in the drain, and they came out to dump their household waste into the drain, resulting in some of the pictures that you are seeing on your screen. So these are videos from last Monday's floods. That's the Monday 29th of June. And the amount of waste that was carried along. So you see, if this should go and get to the sea, the sea is not hot enough to burn this waste. So obviously it will push it back, and not all of it will actually even go into the sea. This will go choke smaller drains, and water that should flow through those drains will flow into our homes and flood our homes, and then we'll turn back and blame the state, the government, for everything that we do ourselves as a people to create the mess that we are in.
Now,
so
most of this thing will not even get to the sea. They will be blocking other drains
along the.
So now it prevents water from flowing.
Mm-hmm.
Once it prevents water from flowing, water will always find its way.
True. True.
So the water will now start finding its way, and unfortunately, the water will find its way into where you live.
Exactly.
Where we live.
Into available spaces.
Available spaces. And we see what we saw on the 29th of June.
So you thought you were throwing rubbish away.
Yes.
But you were rather inviting floodwaters into
your homes. And unfortunately also, once the floodwaters starts coming into your homes, some of this litter also enter your
home.
And it gives you a double jeopardy.
Yes.
Because now you have to deal with water, you have to deal with waste. If you're not careful, you'll be dealing with health issues.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. And let me say that because of the health issues, as we're doing this clearing of the waste, another company of ours, and let me say that Dredge Masters actually is part of the Just One group of companies. Right. Another company of ours is spraying
Okay. Okay.
The drains. Where it's been cleared. So if you go to GBC right now, they're doing some fumigations, spraying of the spaces there, because by all means, these kind of stagnant waters brings along with it mosquitoes and stuff like that.
I just want to find out if you are able, what type of waste has proved most difficult to deal with, especially regarding this exercise?
I think mainly it has to do with these, how do you call it? Solid waste. Solid waste. We have, if you divide it into, there is the organic waste, there is the plastic waste, there is the textile waste, there is the construction waste and all that. I think the one that we're struggling with here right now will be the plastic waste.
Plastic waste.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the construction waste, because that composes of the woods and some of those things that can be easily moved, but it's been mainly plastic waste and other such. As for the organic waste, it can easily be dissolved, or it can easily be, let me just use the layman's word, dissolved.
Right.
With time. With time. But these ones, the plastics will not dissolve. They are not biodegradable. They do not decompose. The others will decompose, but these are not. They cannot decompose. They are not biodegradable. So you find it. That's why you see the numbers. My goodness, it's so scary. It's so scary. So these are the ones that are really causing the problem. So you go to most of our beaches, and that's what we have there. Why? Because they cannot be. But that's why we have. We have this treatment plants, integrated recycling and compost plants, where some of these waste, IRECOPs and ACAP and KCAP Kumasi, where you can send some of these things to, and they are sorted.
Okay.
And the organic waste is then treated into compost. And then the other waste, the plastic waste, for instance, is pelletized and then reused for other plastic, items like bins, buckets, chairs and stuff like that. Textile waste, we haven't started working on textile waste yet, but we are in conversation with some organizations outside Ghana to see how we work on that. And there are others also that, depending on the volumes, we haven't been able to do work on that. But for organic waste, we form about 60% of the waste that is thrown away in this country. We are able to convert that into compost. And then the plastic waste is pelletized. And other companies also, you add some virgin waste to it, some virgin material to it, and then you come up with this thing.
I think we can now move into the disposal and then maybe look at environmental safety. Right. So where is all the waste that we're going to collect between today and tomorrow going?
Right, thank you very much. So, under normal circumstances, they should have been taken to the landfill sites.
Right.
Today, in Accra, the closest landfill site is in the eastern region, at a place called Adepa.
Wow.
But all hope is not lost. Just One Group has also created or established transfer stations.
Okay.
We have, I think, 5 in Ghana, in Accra right now. We have Achimota, Teshin, Malam, Ashaiman, Abokobi.
Okay.
So all the waste will be going there. Some will also be sent to Accra compost and recycling plants, where the sorting and others start immediately. But when you send it to the transfer site, what it does is that it's then compacted and then moved, and so you can get more waste. So we will want to encourage everybody who is collecting the waste to take it to some of these transfer stations. At least we have 5 in Accra right now, so they can send it to those places for it to be compacted and sent, to either KCAP or to Adepa, the landfill sites where there's because of the volumes that are coming. So ACAP might not be able to take all today, but then at least the transfer stations can either hold it on and then send it there later, or they send some to Accra Compost and Recycling Plant. There is also the IRECOP in Accra, and then they can also send the rest to Adepa for us. But within Accra, they don't have a challenge at all. There are a lot of places they can send it to.
We're not in the habit of separating or segregating our waste at source. How much of a challenge does that pose to you?
It's a cultural thing, but by the grace of God, we have found a way around that culture. It's a cultural thing because we are used to putting everything together right from childhood till now. It will take a bit of education. There are people who have traveled outside, and because of that, they separate it. At least they don't mix their plastics with all the other waste. You know, so that would take another, you know, education to do that. But the systems we have built for the recycling of the waste, there is a line that is devoted to sorting.
Okay.
So there is a mechanism in the machine that is able to, it has magnet.
Okay.
So it's able to attract all the
metals.
So the metals are taken out, but then human beings are then able to sort out heavy. You have people putting their mattresses, pillows, suitcases, and all that.
Yeah.
So that sorting is also done. And then as it goes along, there are systems that sort it out. So for now, the machine is doing the sorting for us.
Very well, very well. One thing I also like to know, I mean, you mentioned that the transfer stations will help in compacting, and then later on pass it on to either ACAP or, but for those who do not know where these transfer stations are and still have to dispose of, especially some of these are Boboya people who carry the waste and all, do we have capacity? Do we even have legal landfill sites in Accra?
For the Aboboya, let me say that by the grace of God, they have understood. So they are very much in line and in tune with the fact that it has to go to the transfer stations. That is why, I don't know if it was 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago, where there was, I was telling somebody, I have never seen any presidential convoy that long. We were calling it the Bola convoy around Malam. My goodness. McCarthy Hill, Jesus. It was amazing. But they were in queue, everybody waiting for their turn so they can go and dispose of it. That was beautiful. You know, so they know. They have associations, there's informal waste collectors. The Aboboyas, we have over 3,000 in Ghana, in Accra. They have their associations, they have their leaders, so they know these.
They belong to ESPA?
Yes, they also come under ESPA somehow. Okay. Yes, they work with ESPA. So they have their leaders, and they know where they are supposed to go. Right. If you remember, the Honorable Henry Korte, at some point when he was the regional minister, said no Aboboya should be seen on the main road.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that was the time they were able to direct them to the various, you know, transfer stations so that they can, because an individual cannot pick waste from their home and take it to the transfer station. No. It has to be picked by a waste management company, you know, a waste management service provider. It has to be picked by a service provider and then sent to the place. Yes, so they do. In Accra, we had but at the moment, I think it's about coming to an end because there's so much there. In fact, the first one has been capped and been so beautifully, you know, layered with some greens. So if you see it, it's so beautiful. People travel from other African countries just to come and see that. You know, the legitimate one that is really working now is Adepa, which is the one I'm saying is in the Eastern region now. Yes, please.
We keep hearing engineered landfill sites. What is an engineered landfill site?
So we have dump sites and we have engineered landfill sites. Dump sites are the ones that people just go and pour the waste there and it heaps and heaps. And the engineered landfill sites is the one that is capped. So normally they will, there's a layer, it's like a plastic something that is put on the ground. It's the waste is sent there. They cap it and you send it and you cap it. Okay. So it's a properly engineered way of managing the waste there. So it's not just there as in throwing waste into an open space, but it is well designed, well protected and well managed. You know, so that is when the engineering comes in, because then it's like what we have at Kpong right now. That is an engineered landfill site, because after a while you realize that, look, this thing has reached its peak. We can't do anything about it again. Let's cover it and do something meaningful with it, apart from just throwing waste there. So that's what the engineering landfill sites are about.
Let me go over the phone lines and speak to Engineer Michael Kosi Dede. Engineer, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Nana.
I trust you're well.
I am.
Very well. We're cleaning Accra. Does that excite you?
Pardon me?
We're cleaning Accra. Does that excite you?
Yes, yes. I think it's supposed to be a nationwide exercise.
Yeah, it is.
So I think the idea of mobilizing people to learn to clean their environment is a good one. But as an immediate step to redress our flooding situation, I think it's way past the time. I guess the heaviest of rainfalls have happened. But beyond the exercise of cleaning itself raises the next question of where are the landfill sites? Where are these waste going to be deposited? Because I look around, and if we are not careful, by close of Sunday, Monday, next week, we will see heaps of rubbish piled up by the roadside. So that is my fear. That is it well thought out? And will it be executed properly? Where are our waste disposal sites? Those are the challenges that I think we are definitely confronted with and need to deal with very decisively going forward.
Right, but for now, Zoomlion has assured us that at least 5 of its transfer stations within Accra are open, and so the waste that will be collected in Accra can be sent to these transfer stations, where it will be compacted for onward delivery to places like its recycling and compost plant and what have you. That's at Ajin Kotoku. Yeah, and then we understand the closest landfill as it is in the eastern region at a place called Adepa. But engineer, really on the grounds, what sort of exercise would you want to be seeing? Because if we say we are cleaning, are we just going to be sweeping, or are we handpicking litter? Really, what would you want to see happen regarding this exercise?
So already there exists, or there's supposed to be a system where people are paid already to clean certain spaces. How are these contracts being managed? So that is, for me, the long-term issue. We need to ensure that we don't pay people and then come around again and say, let's go and mobilize people to clean up for things that people are already being paid for. Those, for me, are things that we as a nation should be looking at. And at the moment, it looks as if the whole nation is relying on Zoomlion. That, for me, is state failure. How can the state be relying on a private company for management of people? And that, for me, is totally wrong. And it shows the level, the kind of governance we have done over the years, when we think that the private sector will manage the city. It is wrong. So the city, the authorities themselves must sit down and say, how are we managing our district, our assemblies, to ensure that each of them can manage their waste, can manage their transportation system, and things like that. I mean, these are the things that we should be looking at long term, rather than this sudden issue, oh, let's do a cleanup and then Zoomlion says they are assuring us.
But if the private sector has demonstrated the capacity to handle it, and if the state so far hasn't shown its ability to handle waste management, should we not be looking at, if you like, an improved PPP towards sanitation in the country?
Let's be sincere with ourselves. Over the last how many years that Zoomlion has managed this? Has the city been clean?
Yes.
I mean, let's face it. Has the city been clean?
Yes.
Or is just made money for Zoomlion? Let's be sincere with ourselves, and let's not seek to make it as if Zoomlion is really doing as a favor and that they are actually cleaning up the city. Monies were paid. I mean, all these corruption allegations that have gone on. Has Zoomlion truly been cleaning up the city? Is the city as clean as we want it to be? No. I mean, a government has come and gone where they said Accra will become the most beautiful.
The cleanest city in Africa.
The cleanest city. Has this happened?
No.
So there's no truth to saying that the private sector is managing waste efficiently in Ghana at the moment. There's no truth. There's no evidence. So we need to ensure that the state is working properly, and waste is managed by districts or by assemblies. So how are we empowering or resourcing the assembly? I sincerely think that we should go back and bring together some of the districts that we are fragmented. Seriously, to ensure that every district can strictly manage and do the work that it's supposed to do. Because here in Accra, how many districts can have waste disposal outside? It's not happening. It's not going to happen. So I think that we need government to sit down and say, look, we have taken bad decisions in the past, where we fragmented all these districts, and it is not helping in terms of city planning and management. Let's begin to bring them together again so that spaces can be planned properly and developed. But because the fundamental issue is that we are not planning our spaces and developing them. A lot of the things that we are doing are knee-jerk reactions to address a problem, only to create another problem. So we need to do the fundamental. Let us plan our city. Let us ensure that once we bring the district together, we allow them to do long-term planning and development. Because when you don't do that, then they are uncertain as to what decision another politician is going to make and say, let's split this district into two. Then they cannot do long-term planning and development. Because once somebody obtains a permit from one district assembly, then the district is split, then his permit is lying in another district. And all manner of things. We have not been able to resolve all those challenges. And that is why we see a level of uncontrolled development going on, because you split a district and the current district is confused because somebody is telling that if you obtain a permit from another district and you show it as evidence, and that district cannot trace that document in their system.
Right.
So we need to sit down and do the real hard work of planning and developing our cities, rather than this knee-jerk reactions of, oh, let's go and clean up, let's go and do this. I mean, it doesn't help.
Right. Engineer, if we are to elevate the conversation on waste management, then we should be looking at what happens to the waste after we collect. Are we at the point where, as a country, we should be having conversations around waste to energy?
You see, sometimes we should be careful also not to take one issue and think that is the way to address a nation's developmental issue. Everything is linked. So once we say we want to even go waste to energy, we need to ask ourselves, what is the impact? How is that going to help us? How does it defeat the is it sustainable? Issues like that. If we don't ask all these questions, contracts are being awarded and somebody is saying we are doing waste to energy, only for you to find out in a few years that it's gone haywire. So let's sit down as a country and ask ourselves a very important question. What is fundamentally wrong with our planning and management system? Let's not do a knee-jerk, let's do waste to energy because you have heard it somewhere. Let's sit down. It's even our waste that we see. Can we easily convert it into energy? Will it be efficient? These are things we need to ask ourselves, and let's not jump into another project where contracts are awarded happily, and then we all go back only to wake up another day and find problems in our hands. So I think, yes, let us find it, but we must also realize that everything is connected. If we don't manage waste properly, it has health implications. It has some of the flooding issues that we have seen. So people are storing waste in the house and they are only waiting for the waste to come to dump it. So we should realize that everything is properly connected. Water, at the moment, nobody is talking about potable water. But potable water is an essential part of ensuring that planning and development is properly done. We are not managing that. So we will solve one problem only to realize that another one has been created somewhere. So let's look at all these things properly rather than simply jump into another one because we've heard it somewhere.
Very well. Engineer, thank you so much to you for joining us. We'll fall back on you as and when necessary. Engineer Michael Koside is a regular on Breakfast Daily right here on Channel One Television, speaking to us there regarding today's cleanup exercise. So far, you listened to him. Any comments?
I did, and I smiled when he said that Zoom Lion has been doing this work for some time and they haven't seen any change. I don't know where he was 20 years ago. I was in Ghana. I remember as a young journalist, I was I was so much into the development of this Ghana's decentralization program, where we were trying to decentralize the central point of development to the districts to make sure that every district takes a level of responsibility for their development, and for which government was to resource them through the common fund to ensure that they are able to execute whatever projects they have, and they also take some internally generated fund. Some 20 years ago, before Just One or Zoom Lion started work, we could see heaps of waste. He didn't see it. If you had seen it, you can see that if not for anything at all, those heaps of waste in illegal dump sites have been cleared. And we keep clearing every now and then. So if you drive on the main road, you might not see it. So you might think there is nothing going on. If you have not been in Ghana at the time, when waste management was so terrible that cholera was killing people, you know, in hundreds and thousands. And if you were somewhere else, and today cholera has been brought down to that level it is now, then you can say there is nothing going on. But for those of us who, by the grace of God, have been in this country from that time till now, we can tell and we can see it. I'm not talking because I work with for just one group of companies. For this one, I'm saying it as an individual who has lived here and have seen how the story has unfolded from beginning till now. And I think that if you talk about town and country planning, I think that we have the planners, the engineers, and others who are supposed to sit down and say that how deliberate are we about planning our cities? In planning our cities, what provisions are we making for waste management or waste disposal? Now, all the facilities that Zoom Lion has put in place in this country, they has been led by the private sector. In fact, the National Sanitation Policy states at some point that at a point the waste management should be left in the hands of private sector. Why? Because the government or the assemblies do not have what it takes, or because of the resources available to them, it will take a long time for them to achieve what we want to achieve. Today, Ghana's, and I said it earlier, Ghana's waste management has not just been a matter of giving out contracts and all. It's moved from just waste collection, throwing waste anywhere. From a linear waste management concept to a circular economy, aligning with global concepts. If not for anything at all, today, because of Zoom Lion's job, Ghana is recognized as one of the top countries in terms of circular economy and waste management and sustainability across the nations. I think that is something that Zoom Lion has done, and anybody who wants to see it can see it. But somehow, it's not everybody who sees what everybody sees.
Very well, very well. Fred, I'll come back to you on the exercise, specifically on impacts on a Friday, which is a working day, and tomorrow being Saturday, what is most likely to happen. But we missed the opportunity to listen to the president live from Alajo, and so we want to take that video and hear what he said, what he observed, his own assessment, and what directives he issued after making the assessment at Alajo.
The floods have been devastating, but we must show that we're a resilient nation and we can bounce back even better. We're not going to be like the vulture who will say that when the rain stops, he'll repair his roof. And when the rain stops, he says, oh, but it's not raining, so there's no need to repair it. And so we have to clear the drains. We've just worked this Alajo drain. It's part of the Odo stream. And there are two problems in it. There's silt, and then there's also plastics and household waste. You find in a drain like this, there are engine blocks. People discard an engine block and throw it in the drain. Old furniture, dining tables, everything you can find in that drain. And so, one, we must change our attitudes and stop the reckless dumping of things into the drains. The drains are not garbage instruments. If you want to dispose of something, you know how to dispose, 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 how to dispose.
Apologies for that. Technology will fail you when you least expect it. But that was President John Dramani Mahama speaking after monitoring and assessing the work at Alajo in the Okaikwe Central area. Earlier, the Greater Accra Regional Minister Linda Akwele Obenewa Oklu spoke. The government chair has also spoken. And so we're going to hear from them back to back, and then we'll come back into the studio and have some conversations.
With this sanitation, demolition is also attached.
Where are these?
Wager, they started from Wager Ganoff. There is, the military is handling that. And so this time around, like we said, do you know what we are doing? When we come and find your house, sitting, on a drain, definitely you should know that we will give you not even less than 3 days, to pack your things and leave, so that building. So some buildings has been earmarked, and trust me, all those buildings will come down.
But what about those along the slums along some of these major highways, like on the Tema road, for example, where there's construction going on, but the contractors complain that the slum dwellers are impeding their works? What about those?
There's also a demolition ongoing there. They've tasked the MDCs to make sure that the blockway will be clear for them, to continue with their jobs.
So like I asked earlier, beyond today, what else are you going to do?
There are already measures in place. You see, it's not only today. We observe Sanitation Day, but today has renewed our agenda for sanitation as far as Greater Accra is concerned. And so what we are saying is that you can see the impact of today's exercise. Why has the impact been felt? It's because the turnout is massive. Everybody is on board to make sure that this exercise becomes a successful one. And so why would you wait? Sometimes when they announce the Sanitation Day, they solely depend on the assemblies. And that is what is causing that. But if you take it as a responsibility, that Sanitation Day, you should be part of it and make sure that we clear these choke gutters. Why not? We wouldn't have gotten to where we have. And so people should make sure that anytime they announce the Sanitation Day, they should come out in numbers to support the assembly so that the exercise will be successful. So beyond today, we shouldn't leave it today. Anytime there will be an exercise, sanitation or cleanup exercise, they should all come out in numbers to make sure that the exercise
Finally, before we let you go to supervise the exercise, the president also did indicate that MMDCs who issue permits to people building along waterways should be sanctioned. And are you ready to fire such appointees of the government who would grant permits to individuals to build in unapproved ways?
Why not? I'm more than ready. In fact, I just want one person as a scapegoat. That is what I'm looking after. Just one person as a scapegoat.
Have you identified any yet?
Not really yet, because sometimes you go to places and they confirm they have permits. You ask them, where are the permits? And so we want to have those permits as indicated by those people. If we have their permit and find out that there's this particular MC who is responsible, why not? That person will be fired.
Thank you.
Is that the law must be enforced in a fair, non-discriminatory, and in a swift manner. Whether you are NDC, MPP, and you fall foul of the law, it should work. Whether you're MPP or NDC and your land or your building is in the waterway, it should be demolished. But it shouldn't be a fact that you demolish few buildings and now they say there are people coming to beg, and I don't believe in that. The law is the law. Enforcement should be swift and fair, and we can see development in this area, apart from the engineering aspect of the whole thing.
What we love to hear, but the action that we love to see, sometimes it doesn't necessarily follow the talk. But I mean, if you hear people of the caliber of, I want to say something, but it's national TV, so. But we want to see the action, because you see, if we talk nicely like this, we need to see the action. Even the president Achado, you notice that the problem was staring at him in the face. Yeah. He spoke, if you like, diplomatically about it when he was addressing the MCE. But you see, we need to see the action. It gets tiring sometimes when we come back to sit around the same table after a year to discuss the same problem that we know we could have prevented or solved. So sometimes I don't know. But
we're a country full of talk. And over the years, that's what we've done. Talk, and really nothing happens. As soon as there's something which happens, you hear the nice messages, you hear the nice instructions, you hear people say it's time to do this, it's time to change, it's time to do whatever has to be done to ensure that the issues are fixed or the problems are fixed. Give us 2 days, 3 days, when everything settles and back to factory setting. But you see, there again, over the years, that's been what we've been doing all along. Each and every time, I always say God gives us an opportunity to change our ways. And this is another opportunity we have been given to change our ways. We've seen floods over the years. In the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen floods, not to the magnitude you saw on the 29th. Yeah. Those floods were wake-up calls for us to do certain things, which we never did. We only spoke, like you said, always talk, let's direct, let's break down, let's clear, let's keep our surroundings clean. Nothing happened. 29 June came, very devastating. Indeed. The talk has started. Some action we can see is being taken. Yeah. But it shouldn't end there. It shouldn't be for the optics. You understand? A lot of times these actions are for the optics. It's another opportunity for us which has been given to us to change our ways. And you see, today I'm trying as much as possible not to even deal with changing our ways from the people in authority. Right. Today, I'm trying to shift from that, even though there will be time to deal with those people. Yeah. Today, for me, my focus is the opportunity to change our ways as individuals. Right. And as people, the way we act, the way we do things. Because I said earlier, look at the kind of refuse around, look at the kind of litter, look at the kind of garbage we are seeing. Just because there was a flood on 29th. This garbage did not come from the assemblyman sitting in his house, did not come from the MC, did not come from the president, the MP or whoever. It came from us. The way we deal and the way we litter. That one, yes, there are rules and regulations which need people to get it implemented. But you see, at the end of the day, too, we have a responsibility to ourselves to protect our own selves. Indeed. Yeah. And what we are seeing, yes, too much talk. Too much talk, it will happen, but there's also action. And this time, the action is not just on authority, people in authority, the action is on us as citizens to do what is right. Right.
Indeed. I'm still on the issue of the final disposal sites.
Yes.
Because
I remember the engineer also mentioned it.
Yes, because we get that. Even in this area that we are, Tessano, for the longest time, household waste was sitting in front of people's houses because the waste management company, so if you like the tricycles, the service providers, the concern they raise is if they should load now, they have nowhere to send it. The places they have in mind to send it, they will go and queue.
Exactly.
So they really had challenges, and it took weeks, if not a month.
2 weeks or more.
Yeah, waste was sitting in front of people's houses, and for me, I was getting scared because of the possible public health crisis that could generate out of it. But you did mention, you gave us some, if like, explanation regarding the differences between a dump site and an engineered landfill.
Yes, I just want to give you details of that. An engineered landfill site is scientifically designed. Right. As I said, it's engineered. It's well.
So it's not just let's go and dig some hole somewhere and go and
And it's managed for safe disposal of solid waste. Now, what this does is that it uses systems such as liners, as I mentioned, that you line the ground first and you cap it, and then there's what we call leachate collection. Leachate is that black water that comes from waste, solid waste. Now, what that thing does is that it pollutes the water and it pollutes the soil. But once the system is engineered, it's able to capture it and then direct it. And then there is also gas control. It has drainage, and it has monitoring mechanisms to prevent environmental, pollution. Now, unlike dumping, open dumping or these illegal dump sites, what it does is that the engineered landfill sites protects the soil and it protects water sources, and it also protects public health by promoting sustainable waste management. So that is where the world is looking at, more very advanced economies. That's what they do. And in Ghana, we have done same. What you want to do is to avoid a situation where the water that is coming out of the waste is polluting the soil and polluting water sources. So that's what the engineered landfill site is all about. And then what you were saying about the truth of the matter is population is not static.
No, definitely.
Population is growing. And one of the things that grows with population is waste. My boss will say, your focus is on how it enters. You forget about the fact that whatever enters comes out. Whatever enters comes out. So somehow waste will be generated every day, every single day. So that is why we have helped in bringing out these 5 transfer stations, which would have been good resource being available to have such transfer stations in every district.
The Turkish model.
Every district. Turkey has that kind of model. Exactly. Every district, so that everybody collects their waste. All the service providers, once they collect the waste, they send it there. Because a service provider's joy is not just to collect the waste and be there. They also need to do the turnaround and come and collect it more. Under normal circumstances, they should have a place where when I dispose of my waste this morning, I should be able to go a second time, a third time, a fourth time. That is where I get my money. So if I have to be in a queue for a whole day, a whole, 2 days and all, it affects my operations as well. So I think that this is one appeal I want to make to government, that as they should continue to support private sector players like Just One Group of companies, Zoom Lion, and other waste, waste providers. Because I know Jakura also has a station, a place where they do waste recycling and all that. They should support such, private sector providers to be able to build what can help to do away with littering all over the places and creating these queues on our streets. It's not nice. Imagine, these are household waste. Imagine if somebody in this vicinity has a cold store or sells fish, and for 2 weeks your waste has not been picked. Can you imagine the pollution you'll be going through, the kind of thing you'll be smelling? So I think that yes, we are doing our best, but government should continue to partner private sector to build some of these facilities across all the districts so that it will make the collection of the waste easier, transportation easier, and then we can have engineered landfill sites where we can all be proud of that. Oh, we have been able to, take care of our waste in this manner. The truth of the matter is, this is a journey. It's not a destination that we say we have arrived. It's a process, and process requires time, and people should be ready to be committed to give time to get things to the level that it has to get to.
You spoke about population growth, and that triggered a question. I'm sure when Zoomlion started operation somewhere, I think 2006?
Yes, 20 years ago.
Right.
Zoomlion is 20 years in Ghana today.
Wonderful. you were not dealing with as much waste as we have today. If you look at waste per tonnage. So what is the most sustainable way going forward to deal with the amount we are generating on a daily basis?
The most sustainable way is doing what is right. Doing what is right. We have started. I have told you that when we came in, it was linear waste management. Today, we have moved to circular economy. What can we do to get more of such facilities to ensure that waste is not just sent to a dump site and that ends it? Because then you have to be moving from dump site to dump site. It's not sustainable enough. What can we do to ensure that government supports waste management or service providers to create such facilities as Zoomlion has created, so that we have final dump sites, we are able to make use of the waste we have generated and to, support other sectors of the economy. This is very important. And secondly, mindset change. Mindset change.
Very important.
As he mentioned, I like the way he puts it, cleaning of the mind. Cleaning of the mind. Because if your mind is bola, all you can do is to generate more bola. But once your mind is cleaned and you know what the right thing to do and you do the right thing, I think we will all be helping each other. And there should be enforcement. In fact, yesterday I saw this news that says Parliament passes Community Services Bill to introduce community service as an alternative to custodial sentencing for persons convicted of specific categories of offenses. Waste management should be one. It should be number one. When people throw things at places and you see it, report them. Let the courts begin to sentence people to cleaning areas. Right? You throw your cocoa rubber, here. We make you sweep the area for the next 1 month. Can you imagine? People will be alert, and it will help. It will help. You see, what it requires is sustainability, sustained campaign. It's not one that you can do today and forget tomorrow. That is why I am praying that this Sanitation Day, we started it way back and stopped. Yes, and stopped. And did it again and stopped. We should sustain it, and we shouldn't just do the once in a month thing and that's it. After that, people should continue to be educated. We should continue to educate people, and then the laws should be enforced. Assemblies bylaws should be enforced. The assemblies should take responsibility for that, and they should use this custodial community, services as a big way of getting people to do the right thing. But if we don't sustain the conversation, we pick it today, tomorrow we move to another thing, we cannot get there. Because don't forget that sanitation impacts every aspect of our well-being. It's talking about health, productivity, the economic development, and education, and everything. So we have to work together. And this is one time that all hands on deck makes a lot of meaning.
Indeed. Let me do a quick assessment of Gas South. Akwesi Ado is joining us. Akwesi, good morning and thank you for joining us. Where in Gas South are you?
Good morning, Nana, and thank you for having me. So we are currently at Osiadine, and this is a few meters away from the toll booth on the Kaswa Malam Highway. And let me mention that, in fact, the Municipal Chief Executive for Gas South has really done well so far as coordinating best sanitation exercise is concerned. They've categorized it into phases. So we have people working at the English Yamanfrom area. We have others working at the Galilea Market area. There are other people also working in Tuba. And then we have a section of the people also working around Brigade. And then here at Osiadan also, we have heavy equipment here, the silting drains, and also trying to clear some of the debris from drainage chambers in this area. There's also a similar exercise happening in between the SCC junction Atala area. And so I have with me here the Honorable MCA, Moses Kabukubi Wakanse, whom we're going to engage so far as this exercise is concerned. So Chief, good morning and thank you for joining us. This is Channel One. What has been activities for today? Can you tell us?
Thank you very much for coming, and I want to thank you for comprehensive coverage that are carrying on for today. The activities for today, we are doing a number of desilting of the gadgets by the N1. We are also doing some desilting from Tuba Junction to Tuba, and we are also collecting debris and also the refuse that have been gathered at the point. We are within the median also, so that at least the field that has been brought into the communities will be taken care of.
Okay, Chief. So let's see. How would you want to weigh participation?
Yeah, the participation has been good, even though there are a few people initially that were trying to open their shops. But my task force went there to lock up some of the shops, and now they've all come on board, and people are cleaning their frontages also. So we have some of our assembly members taking care of those electoral areas to make sure that they also clear their areas. Our task force is moving around, and it has been good, but I know tomorrow will be better. Yeah, because some of them are saying that the information they are having is that the communities will work tomorrow. The communities will work. The communities will work tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So we really have a challenge so far as the main drainage channels on both sides of the road is concerned, particularly at Amanfo. What are we doing about it? Already, I've seen that a huge debris of silt have already been collected. How are we going to manage what we are collecting for the drainage channels?
Thank you very much. We have some points that we are depositing them, and some individuals also need some of them for them to use it to build their compound. And I think for where we will deposit them, it's not a problem at all. Yes, it's not a problem at all. We have a place that we are depositing.
So now let me bring you to this point where we are, the Osiadan area. Specifically, what kind of activities are we embarking here?
Thank you very much. Osiadan here, we are embarking on two major activities. When right now is that the drains by the roads have been desilted, and we are collecting the silt that have been removed from the drains. Then we are also desilting that pit. So we have people there desilting that pit to make sure that at least the silt that is coming from the top can be received by that particular pit. So they are there. We ask the ECG to off the light so that they can work. So that is what we are doing here currently.
Okay, so these are matters that we've already extensively discussed in some of the news reports that we have done earlier on. But particularly for the Osiadan area, we want to believe that human activities have held an appetite, another contributing factor, even as we invest heavily and then exert energy in trying to solve the problem. What are we also doing to check the human activities up here?
Thank you very much. So, like in our previous conversation, like I told you, when I came uphill here, there was a construction going on, but I had to stop them to make sure that at least they don't continue, because their activities will surely impact us, and then the commuters will suffer more. And uphill there also, there are a number of activities that were going on, and I asked the police to support. With their support, we try to stop them. People are already occupying some of the facilities, and when you go, they tell you that they are just trying to keep the place neat. But we are trying our best to make sure that they don't add to the problems that we are already.
So I don't believe that we want to attain two main targets. One, to ensure that our environment is clean, and then two, to prevent flooding.
Yeah.
For flood-prone communities, so far as this exercise is concerned, what are we doing there?
Thank you very much. So, like I said, the communities, the electoral areas are also doing this. And then for now, because of the importance attached to this route and the drains, we are tackling them. And then tomorrow, we will also move to the communities again to look at what we can do there. When you look at Sampa Valley, before this exercise, we've gone there to do some dredging of some of the drains, not all. I even went to a house and I gave it to them seriously, because you cannot live in a house and your frontage is choked with weeds in the drain and you cannot remove them. When it rains and the water floods, it is your house that it comes, and you cannot use that opportunity to dissolve the drain, so that at least you also be safe. I've already spoken with them, and the next time we went there, at least the place was kept neat. I think what we have to do, which I've spoken with my environmental officer, there's a Samasama that they know is the same Samasama we have, but it's just the name that has been changed. What they need to do is to make sure that they enforce the laws. Ghanaians need enforcement. If we don't enforce it, then they will not also obey the rules. Just like, look at what's happening here right now. You move and you don't want to move. When they are enforcing it, you come out and say that you belong to a political party. So because of that, they shouldn't enforce the law.
That was what I was about asking you. Sometimes people would want to play the political card when you want to, enforce our laws. Someone has built on waterway, someone is, engaging in irresponsible waste practices. You move in, and then the next action is that they play the party card. Do you have the political will to, after today and tomorrow's exercise, go after people whose activities may endanger residents in this municipality?
Thank you very much. And I even arrested someone I know very well that he belongs to my party. But for the fact that whatever activity you are embarking on is impacting negatively to the communities, which will also go a long way to affect my political party, I need to take that action. We cannot say because of your individual political interest, the whole country should suffer. In fact, for that one, even though we belong to the same party, I talk to them and make sure that they do the right thing. If you don't do it, then when I'm applying the law, then you know that you caused it. And in fact, that resulted in that arrest.
I want to say thank you very much.
I want to thank you for this opportunity, for the comprehensive coverage you are embarking on today's activity. Thank you very much.
Okay. So, Nana, that was the Municipal Chief Executive for Gas South, Moses Kabukubi Okansek, speaking to us from here at Osiadan on the Malam Kaswa Highway, one of the most problematic zones where commuters really go through hell anytime it rains.
Very well, Akwesi, thank you so much. Akwesi Ado is our Central Regional Correspondent, but he's speaking to us from Gas South Municipality along the Kaswa Toll Booth area, just as he described, and just as we've mentioned here in studio, silt, or if like sand from the hilly areas, always fall onto the main road when we record rains in the capital. Indeed, it impedes traffic. It actually forces drivers into a one lane instead of a two lane. And it's important that the MCA, as part of this national cleanup exercise, rids the stretch of the silt that has gathered on the main road. We'll be going back to him as he also visits other areas. But Sophia, quickly, how would this exercise be measured when we are done? And how should it inform us going forward?
Of the major measurement of this exercise will be seeing neat gutters, clean gutters. seeing that our communities do not have heaps of waste that people have put in there. Another thing will be the fact that when it will rain by all means, but when it rains, we will see that the water will have its normal course to use, because we are in the rainy season, so by all means it will rain again. The other thing will be the fact that we will not have cases of malaria and cholera in our hospitals. For me, these will be key indicators that this exercise today has been successful, that our gutters are clean, our frontages are clean, and then water has its final and normal course of way to pass through, and there are no medical issues. And then the fact that this conversation, this exercise is sustained.
Right.
Sustainability is key in this conversation, because if we don't sustain this campaign, we will come back every day. But if government has set aside just one day in the months that we should all come out and do this, you realize that the time will come, even by the time the day is up, there will be nothing to clean.
Indeed. Yeah.
But we must be, there's one word I use in my house a lot, and I tell my young ones: deliberate, intentional. You know, and this intentionality is not just about the cleaning of our streets today, but intentionality in terms of planning. Intentionality in terms of planning. If we want to do something, if we are building our roads, who are those sitting down at the table to discuss how the road should look like? In building that road, do you factor in the drainages? What kind of drainages do we want? Are we building for today just to be seen and healed? Or we are building for posterity?
Right.
That tomorrow our children will come and say, oh, do you know that my father was part of the engineers? My father was part of the planners. My father was part of the people who built the thing. And I always say that, I mean, artisans sometimes think they are nobodies, but they are the ones that, when you say a nation, it's a nation. It's the buildings and the structures and things that you have there. And these are the people who are building it.
Yeah.
So we have to be intentional in our planning, intentional in our execution of whatever plans we have in place. And we should be intentional in putting in place structures that, you know, that encourages sustainability. Because if we do not sustain whatever we're doing, then we are just, you know, I'm just waiting to be healed, and then the next thing is past and gone. But I want to really thank and commend my president. I remember I went somewhere, and then the president was passing, and I said, my president is coming, please. And a lady was like, why? Is he your president alone? He's our president. I want to commend my president for this bold initiative.
Right.
And I want to thank all the ministries, everybody, every Ghanaian that is playing a role in today and tomorrow to ensure that at least we will see what neatness looks like. We will see what a clean city looks like. And once we have seen it, we should desire to have it all the time. And I want to thank everybody and the media for the excellent job you're doing. I think all the media houses across the nation, everybody is on their toes, everybody is on the field, everybody is trying to monitor and ensure that whatever the president has asked that we do is being done. The other thing is the sustainability of this campaign. The media should not just do media coverage for today, but what programs can we put in place? What kind of content can we put on our sets, on our radios, and what kind of write-ups can we have in our media, in our print media and the social media to ensure that sustainability is in the faces and environmental sanitation is in the faces of people, so that we all know that every single day I have something to do to make my environment clean, and somehow I will be helping to make sure that sicknesses, diseases do not increase and all that. So I want to commend the media too for the great job that you're doing.
So Foya Kujoji, Chief Corporate Communications Officer for the Jospon Group of Companies. We'd like to say thank you to you as well. It's been interesting having you on the show and all the insights that you've brought to the programming today as we continue to provide coverage for this national general cleaning exercise, which is going on across the country. And talk about across the country, we would like to make a stop in the Ashanti region, the Abuabu area. Bright Yabua is our Ashanti regional correspondent. Bright is joining us with some updates from the Abuabu area. Hello, Bright.
Yes, sir.
How clean is Abuabu today?
So the sanitation exercise actually began around 8 a.m. and clearly I can say that the streets of Abuabu is in a good shape. It's forming and everything seems to be in order because the exercise is still ongoing and participants are still here trying to make the streets of Abuabu and many corners of Abuabu clean. Nana.
What has been the level of participation on the part of the citizens?
So earlier when we came here, the members who were present at the time that we came here around 8 a.m., most of them were from the assembly, and in fact residents here, most of them are indoors. Even people who had closed their shops, they were still not participating. So the numbers are in fact really discouraging. Earlier I spoke with the MC for the Sukware Mampo Municipal Assembly, that is the Honorable Ben Abdallah Al Hassan, when he told me that in fact it's really regrettable, judging from the fact that people have closed down their shops, they've closed their shops, and the fact that they are supposed to be on the streets, they are supposed to be helping in the cleanup exercise, and yet the numbers are very poor. And so yes, that's the situation here currently. Nana.
Which, I mean, obviously the assembly will be in charge of the exercise, but who is spearheading it? I'm asking because elsewhere we've seen the military take charge, elsewhere we've seen police take charge. So who is leading the exercise, the actual activity in Abuabu today?
So the municipal chief executive is actually spearheading, but we have the Ghana Police Service, and we have the Ghana Fire Service here too, who are also helping with the activity as well. In fact, like I said earlier, when I spoke with him, when I engaged the MC, he told me that especially the people who, the shop owners who had closed their shops and had some refuse in and around their shops would be prosecuted. That's what, from his own words, that's what he told me. And that it's so bad. So like you asked earlier, the municipal assembly is spearheading. That's the municipal chief executive, Ben Abdallah Al Hassan, is the one spearheading. But we have the Ghana Police Service and some Ghana Fire Service as well here. Nana.
Right, describe the area to us, the community. What sort of community is it, and what type of waste is most likely to be generated or cleared from the community today?
So Abuabu is a typical Zango community. When I say Zango community, what I'm trying to say, what I mean is that it is not well developed. So the streets are poorly developed. Sanitation is really a big issue. Currently, I am at the Pelele stream, which happens to be the main stream here, and participants are still here trying to get the area clean. So Abuabu is a typical Zango area. Sanitation is a big issue, and everything that you can speak of is poorly developed. I mean, it's a poorly developed area. Nana.
Also, regarding the level of participation, which not so high on the part of the community members or residents, what of businesses within the area? Are they operating? Are shops open? Are traders going about their businesses?
When we came earlier, in fact, almost all the shops were open except for a few shops that were opened. And so when the policemen or the Ghana Police Service realized that these people had opened their shops, they quickly went to them and enforced that they closed down their shops. So as it stands, every shop here, from what I can see, every shop here is closed. None of them is opened. Nana.
From the MC's point of view, that is if you've been able to engage him, what is his own level of appreciation or otherwise of the exercise?
So he says that hopefully, I mean, like I said, he said that the participation is poor, and I think when it started it was bad, but now I think we are seeing some number of residents who have actually joined the exercise, and so I would say it's a bit better compared to when we started earlier in the morning. Right now I have the member of the assembly member for the Abuabo number 1 electoral area, who I am going to engage in for a while now. So you are very welcome, Honorable. May I know your name? Welcome to Channel One.
Thank you.
What's your name?
Mubarak Adamu.
Mubarak Adamu, the participation here has been very poor. What is really the issue? What is really happening?
Honestly, I cannot speak to that because we have done our part. We have made the announcement. We have sent messages to the media houses within the municipality. So honestly, I cannot speak to the fact that the way people have not really turned up.
So going forward, what do you think can be done differently to ensure that the community or the residents actually fully participate? I mean, tomorrow is also another day.
Yes, I think this initiative is a very wonderful initiative. And if we are putting in a lot of resources and the people are not turning up, I think the next step is we should use force. That's what I think will help the people to come out to work as they are expected to work.
So sanitation happens to be a big challenge. And of course, when on the grounds, I realized that some of the residents even at a point they attempted to dispose their household waste in the tricycle that are supposed to pick up these. What is really happening here?
You see, sometimes you cannot explain some of the way our people they behave. We are saying that we should come out and then embark on an exercise. Instead of them to come for us to work together, they would rather prefer to bring the refuse from their homes to where we are working. And when you try to educate them, it will turn into a fight. We are doing our best to make sure that this sanitation policy that the government or our leaders have put out will be successful. But I think we still need to educate them on some of the things that they do that are not helping the initiative.
All right, thank you very much. So that was the assembly member for the Abuabo number 1 electoral area we spoke with. And from all indications, the assembly member did its part in ensuring that the residents actually participate. But as it stands, no one, the numbers that turned out for the exercise has been very minimal. So I have another member of the... good morning, sir, and welcome to Channel One News.
Okay, welcome. My name is Ahmed Numan. I'm the assembly member for Akwetiala electoral area in the Asakware Mampo Municipal Assembly.
Akwetiala line, there are so many electoral areas here, but you look at the number of participants here as it stands, it's very low. What is really accounting for this?
For this one, as for the assemblyman, I already did my announcement and I encourage my people to participate. You can see some of them around here and they are doing the massive job. So we urge those who didn't came and participate, we urge them maybe tomorrow or tomorrow next. This one is not only today that we are doing this exercise. We are doing it each and every month. So we urge more people to come and participate so that we can do it massively more than this one, inshallah, by God's grace.
Thank you very much, Honorable. So that was the assembly member for the Akwetiala line electoral area who shares his view that, same thing, the numbers has been low, that he hopes that subsequently, and the next day, tomorrow, the numbers would go up for the exercise. Nana.
All right. Thank you so much, Bright. Bright Yabua is Ashanti regional correspondent speaking to us from Abuabo in the Ashanti region. Let's go over to Charles Owusu Kumi. He's currently around the Malam area. Charles, thank you so much. So you've moved from Circle to Malam. What was your observation along the stretch? Hello, Charles.
Hello, Tufo.
Great, thank you. I'm asking that you have been moving from, if you like, the Circle area all the way to the Malam area. What has been your observation so far?
Well, Tufo, I think it's been pretty impressive, especially for the traders at Circle. So on our way here, we did notice that most of them had complied with the directive for their shops to be closed. Not just that, they had closed their shops, but they had also, in their own ways, joined in the cleanup exercise. Well, then we did get to Malam, where with the Zoom Lion team, they did some cleaning at the Malam Junction, right at the overhead. And then we went into Weja itself. Well, there's a community called Okokroko within the Weja municipality. That was heavily impacted by the June 29 floods. So the Member of Parliament was quite particular about that community today. What we did notice, unfortunately, in that community, Nana, was that the level of enthusiasm and participation from the residents there were not as impressive as what we saw when we got to Circle with the traders. Now that community, we saw piles of refuse, most of them sitting in front of homes as a result of the flooding. So these are refuse cleared from the aftermath of the floods, and they were still sitting there. Well, the Member of Parliament was helping to get some of these tricycles to come and cart them away. But we've also, from there, been to the Kaswa Galilea area, where you had Zoom Lion workers clearing the median. But interestingly, also, we found some young ladies also joining the exercise, clearing their frontage. They had actually entered the gutters and clearing the gutters of silt, and we asked them why they had chosen to join today's exercise, and they said, well, the president made the call, and they chose to respond to it. We're back to Malam. What's happening here is the National Service personnel under the Weja Grawe Assembly have also joined in contributing to today's exercise. So you see, they are the ones who've been doing this work, clean the streets of silt. They are still here, and it's looking like a bit cloudy. It's drizzling a bit, but they are still here working and trying to contribute their bit to the exercise. I have here with me the president for the National Service Association, Census Service Personnel Association within the Weja Grawe Municipal Assembly. It's drizzling, but you're still here with your people contributing. As a young person, how important is it for you to be able to join in these national exercises like this?
Okay, so I'll first commend our MC, Honorable Felix Odate Lamte, for giving us this mandate together with the National Service Secretariat. One thing is that National Service, our main mandate is to serve the nation, and some of us, I think it's kind of difficult to come together to do some of this cleaning, but when it's mean as the name as National Service coming together to do this, it's been fun, although you can say it's drizzling, but we are happy doing this, and we are praying that as time goes on, the same number or even more will come in to do it, but it helps. As you can see, for Malam Junction,
it's very difficult for some of the people here when it rains because of the dust and other things that's over here. But then the unfortunate things that happen will reduce.
How much of a responsibility should young people take in terms of sanitation and the environment?
Okay, I think the highest form of responsibility, and one is what our current president, John Dramani Mahama, said, that we should be doing this once in a month. Yes, so I believe we shouldn't even just limit it to just once in a month. As time goes on, whenever we see our surroundings, something that's not well, something that's blocking the way of the rain, or let me say the flood, we should try our best to clean the place so that those unfortunate things that happened wouldn't happen again. Yes, yes.
All right, thank you very much. Looks like it's raining. We need to get out of here. So, Nana, the rains are intensifying here. We're told that we'll be moving from here to the Odoko area, where another team is working there. Hopefully, when we get there, we can return to you in the studio with further updates.
Very well, Charles. Thank you so much. Charles Owusu-Kumi there, bringing us live updates from the Malam area, where he reports that they've also been into the Wager communities where some cleaning up exercise has been done, of course, led by Zoom Lion Ghana Limited. So we've got cameras all over, and we'll be touching base with our correspondents, or if you like reporters, as and when they have updates for us regarding this exercise. Earlier you heard from Sophia Kujoji. She's the Chief Corporate Communications Officer for the Jospon Group of Companies, under which Zoom Lion Ghana Limited is a subsidiary. I'm still in studio with Fred Tete Jabano, and well, earlier we tried playing for you a video of His Excellency the President John Dramani Mahama when he visited the Alaju area in Okaikwe Central. We had some hitches regarding that video. Well, it's been fixed, and so we'd like for you to hear from the first gentleman of the land.
The floods have been devastating, but we must show that we are a resilient nation and we can bounce back even better. We're not going to be like the vulture who will say that when the rain stops, he'll repair his roof. And when the rain stops, he says, oh, but it's not raining, so there's no need to repair it. And so we have to clear the drains. We've just worked this Alajo drain. It's part of the Odo stream. And there are two problems in it. There's silt, and then there's also plastics and household waste. You find in a drain like this, there are engine blocks. People discard an engine block and throw it in the drain. Old furniture, dining tables, everything you can find in that drain. And so, one, we must change our attitudes and stop the reckless dumping of things into the drains. The drains are not garbage instruments. If you want to dispose of something, you know how to dispose of it. We have skip trucks that leave containers all over the city. Just go and throw your garbage into the skip, and the truck will come and pick it and take it where it has to take it. 2 days are not enough to finish this work, but we're going to institute it so that at least 1 day every month, all of us should come out and clean our surroundings. That is what our traditional values were about. We're taught to keep a clean environment. But when we all leave our hometowns and we come, because of the anonymity of urbanization, we think that nobody watches us, so we dump those values and we live in filth. We must change that attitude. I'm also asking the Minister of Finance, he's already released 150 million to help with flood mitigation, that is the dredging of the streams and all that. And so the military will continue that exercise, even after we have finished this 2-day cleanup. We also have to get specialized machines like backhoes to take the silt that we have taken out of the drains and put them in a dump truck or a tipper truck to take them away. And so we're going to get some more. We're going to get some more backhoes for the military, so that all the garbage and the silt that we have taken out of the drains, they'll be able to gather it and go and dump it somewhere. Otherwise, if we don't do that, what we would have done will be in vain, because when the rains come, it will just wash all those silt and garbage back into the drain. So thank you very much, everybody who has come out. Let me especially thank Niga. He's gone around the whole city. I want to thank him, thank all his other traditional leaders, and all the people of Ghana who have come out today to clean their environments. Thank you very much.
His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the President of Ghana, giving an address after monitoring and assessing the exercise within the Okaikwe Central area along the main Alaju drain, which is part of the, I think it's Udo stream. Udona. Yeah, we've anglicized the thing. We keep saying Odo. Udo. Yeah, so John Dramani Mahama there. And Fred, I think what's been re-echoed by almost all the inserts we've had is the issue of the attitudes of the people and our tendency to engage in indiscriminate waste disposal.
Yes, it's the cause of where we find ourselves, where we don't want to take responsibility for our own selves. We feel like because we have people who have been engaged or who have been given the responsibility of doing certain things, we do not want to take our own personal responsibility to ensure the cleanliness of our surroundings. So everywhere you go, you are hearing everybody saying that the first step is to take responsibility for our own selves, to ensure that we are getting places clean, to ensure that the indiscriminate disposal of waste is stopped. Until we do that, we are still going to find ourselves in this situation. Like Sophia said, population keeps growing.
Indeed.
And once population keeps growing, definitely there's going to be waste. How for waste, there's nothing we can do about it.
It will be generated.
We will generate waste
as long as
each and every day. But the issue is, how do we deal with this waste? And in dealing with this waste, there are different layers. There's the first layer, which begins with the individual.
Right.
And it is one of the most important layers in the dealing with waste.
Fred, hold on for me. Let me go to the Western region and speak to Akwesi Ejay and Nim. Chief, thank you so much for joining us. Great. Has the exercise ended in your area?
Yes, very much so. So far, the exercise is actually running up. What is left is for the very heavy duty trucks to come around to spare the few salts that were actually emptied from the river gutter away to the refuse dump. As at 10:40, 11 o'clock, the actual exercise had actually come to an end. And you could see the military officers who actually led this officer here in Secretariat, they all getting back into their buses, back to the barracks. But I must say, it was a fairly well participated exercise here within the Secretariat of the Metropolitan Assembly and the Etiapa Municipal Assembly, where the exercise was led by the various security agencies, right from the naval command officers, the police, the fire officers, and the UN and the Air Force. So it was well done. We saw a lot of the very gutters that are always choked being emptied by these officers. But in the Western region, I was passing the Secretariat of the Metropolitan Assembly, the exercise has been divided into two. That is between today and tomorrow. Today, we saw the security agencies leading the exercise together with public workers and private workers participating. But tomorrow, you will see the households also participating in this exercise. So that has been the situation. As we speak, the market women have actually come back to the market sector to do their usual trading. But I must say, it's well, participated, and we'll be seeing some of the many gutters that actually always get choked very much empty.
Very well, Akwesi, thank you so much. Grateful to you for the updates from the Western region, the Sekendi Takrade Metropolitan Assembly, where we understand the exercise has ended. Akwesi J. Nim is our bureau chief for the Western Belt. Let me now speak to Fauzu Masawudu. He's around the Jorulu ends, and he's joining us live. Fauzi, thank you so much. So between Alajo and Jowlu, what's the level of progress that you can report on?
Well, Nana, it's been, the progress has been significant, especially at Alajo where I was earlier. But now I've made a stop here at Jowlu in the Ayawaso West municipality. I currently find myself at a certain spot that has a peculiar issue. I would be engaging the municipal chief executive for the municipality, Dr. Michael Mensah, to really understand what the situation is, and generally the issue of flooding in the municipality, a reason for which this national cleaning exercise day was initiated by the government in the first place. I'll give you a quick view of the community if you like, but let's get into the conversation with the municipal chief executive for the Ayawaso West municipality, Dr. Michael Mensah. Doc, you're live on Channel One Television, and thank you for your time. Government has made it clear that this exercise is part of a broader strategy in addressing issue of flooding across the country. But for you, what is your flooding challenge in the municipality?
Let me say that the last rain we had, the one we had 2 weeks ago, I must say that the entire municipality was submerged. It is due to multiplicity of issues. One of them has to do with improper solid waste management that can be linked to indiscipline. In the sense that the various households are supposed to have waste bins, and you have to arrange with the municipality to get these waste bins emptied from time to time. But then most of the people just find solace in discharging the waste into our gutters, especially when it is raining. And that has contributed largely to the flood situation we experienced the last time. Apart from that, as I indicated, indiscipline is one of the major contributors to the flood situation. Currently, we are at Jowlu, and what we see around is so bad. It's nothing to write home about. Just in front of me is a sewage system. When they flush their toilet, the toilet comes here. You can see the toilet.
Okay.
It's so bad that the whole place, it has been cleaned. We have come here to clean up the place. They can see toilets. They've already cleaned the place. They can see toilets all over the place. They flush, and the toilets, you see the toilet here. Then where
so
no proper sewage system. The porch that you see here, this is a septic tank. A septic tank that looks like a shed. So when they flush the toilet, it gets into the main drainage, which is very bad. This is unacceptable, because the last time we had the storm, we had the drain. The water goes with all sorts of things, and it can create health issues for all of us.
Are you now discovering this challenge?
I am now discovering this challenge. The assemblyman drew my attention to this. That is why we are here to do the cleaning. But behind us, you can also see a heap of garbage. You see a heap of garbage just behind us, and they are unable to manage this. And that is why we continue to say that apart from the drainage system issues that we have, the human cost is also very huge. Look at what is behind us. We even came to clean and also try to gather the garbage. When we came here, the entire place was in a mess. So we need to come on board as individuals, because, as I always say, waste management is a shared responsibility. We all have a responsibility to ensure that the entire municipality, the entire country is clean.
So, Honorable, we will talk about this structure proper and the challenge, the sanitary challenge it's posing to residents. But what will be made of this heap of refuse here?
Yes, the Environmental Health Unit has already taken notice of it, and they are going to be summoned. They are going to be arraigned before court for creating such mess. So you can imagine if we should have another heavy downpour, the whole place will be in a mess. Right. So the environmental health unit will take care of that immediately. And also the mess here, the toilet that is being opened onto the gutter would also be taken care of.
Honorable, will one be justified to argue that it's quite shocking that Assembly is now unraveling what, for the lack of better expression, has become a canker to, issue of flooding or sanitation in the residents? I mean, I asked you earlier whether you are now discovering this, and you said it's the Assembly member that drew your attention to this, and I'm sure this is clearly not an old structure.
It is not. It is an old structure. Let me say that the Assemblyman has been here severally to make sure that the right things are done, but they haven't paid attention to him. So, because most often the first point of contact is Assemblyman. Right. So he has tried to deal with it severally, but because they are adamant and they are not ready to respond to his issues, the Assembly has come in. And let me say that when it comes to the structure, the integrity is questionable. So my engineers are also here. They will look at the structure, come up with a report on the structural integrity so that this structure have to be, if we need to pull it down, we will pull it down.
What has been the level of cooperation, if you like, today? Have you seen some residents of this particular, some occupants of this building coming out in the first place to even ensure that we do not see this mess? What has been the level?
Unfortunately, they are not bothered. Okay. They are not bothered. Nobody is here, as you can see. And that is why I said waste management is a collective effort or a shared responsibility. They are all indoors. They are supposed to be helping us because they have created this mess. And so we are going to take action against them.
Does it irritate you?
It does. It does. It is just not right. They create the mess, but at the end of the day, they are the very people who are out there complaining.
What are plans by the Assembly to, if you like, sustain the gains that will be made today and tomorrow after the cleanup exercise?
Well, let me say that we have what you call the National Sanitation Day, and we've been observing this over the month. So this only adds to the National Sanitation Day. But let me say that we are embarking on this exercise because of the flood situation about 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So the essence of this is actually to avert any occurrence if there should be any heavy downpour. So that's why we are here. But apart from this, I can assure you that every month we embark on the National Sanitation Day, and the essence is actually to clean our environment and to make sure that the place is habitable for all of us.
Right. Well, we are in Jowlu presently, but I know that there is massive work going at other parts of your municipality, for instance, Shiashi and parts of Atomic, Okponglo, and what have you. What are the demarcations that you have made within your own space to ensure that, the efforts are equitably distributed?
Well, let me say that the security service also came to augment our efforts. Okay. So we've deployed them across the electoral areas. We have 13 electoral areas, and behind me you can see or you can spot some of the prison officers or other security officers. When you go to Shiashi, you go to Okponglo, you go to Atomic Runabout, you go to Lagos Avenue, Roman Ridge. We've deployed them across the 13 electoral areas, and I must say that they have been very helpful. Today's work have been very impactful, and we are going to sustain it.
What's the way forward?
Yeah, the way forward, as I said, is that we must all come on board. Right. It's a shared responsibility. It's a collective effort. And once we all come on board, we will create an environment that will be peaceful, an environment that will be an environment where we will not have health issues.
Okay. Thank you very much. Right. So Dr. Michael Mensah is the Municipal Chief Executive for Ayawa South West. Doc, you mentioned the building engineer of your municipality. You're live on Channel One Television. Your name, please.
My name is Engineer Nathan Caesar.
Because of your field, I would want us to focus more on this structure and the threats or the risk it's posing to the community. Honorable mentioned that there's going to be a structural integrity assessment to ascertain whether indeed this structure needs to still be in existence or otherwise. How soon should we expect that?
Yeah, exactly so. It is when we also came here that we saw the structure. So immediately myself and the fiscal planner, we decided to do some structure auditing report on this and assess its integrity. If it is habitable for the people to live in, fine. If it is not, then we take the next line of action.
Do you have any preliminary findings?
We have seen, if visibly, if you see it now, you can see with your own naked eyes that there are some problems, there are some defects that you can even notice on it. Yes.
Are there similar situations in the municipality?
One also that we visited before. So we'll add this to that and present a comprehensive report on it. Yes.
But I mean, what has been the level of compliance really with building regulations in the municipality, and has your office encountered any challenge as regards?
Oh, you can see that this is an old
structure, absolutely.
Old structure. Yeah. So we don't know what happened previously, but now in fact they are complying. The new permits that we give, we go strictly according to the protocols, yes, that are available. Yes.
Okay. But beyond this, which has prompted the need to conduct a rigorous, if you like, assessment of some of these structures, are you looking to extend it?
Exactly, exactly. So we want to do a structure auditing on all the municipality. We'll do it on electoral area basis, and that's what we'll do. Now, if any of such are found, we just put reports on it and submit for approval. Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you so much. So, I'm still coming to you from Jowulu in the Ayawaso West municipality, and if you are very acclimatized with Ghana's flooding menace, it's a no-brainer that Jowulu is one of the communities that sit atop issue of flooding in the country, and if you like, the Greater Accra region. And so the municipal chief executive, Dr. Michael Mensah, said they are not going to leave any stone unturned this time around. He stated clearly that this building is going through some form of assessment to ascertain its integrity and whether or not it deserves to still be in existence or otherwise. Anna.
Fauzu, thank you so much bringing us those updates from the Ayawaso area, speaking to the MC as well. But I still have Fred Tete Jabano with me here in studio. Fred, day one is on a Friday. The dynamics of a weekday and a weekend are different.
Yes,
people's attitudes change on weekdays and weekends.
Yes.
If we look at the reports we've gathered from around so far, and the level of citizen participation, if like public participation, what does it say to you if you are to gauge between today and tomorrow?
You see, during weekdays, you have a lot of the excuse of we need to be at work. We've not been given permission to stay home. There are a lot of activities, productivity, money to be made. So there are a lot of reasons why people will not participate or come out openly to participate during a weekday. For weekends, yes, there are funerals, but in the mornings, a lot of the times, there are people who are home. Home resting, home trying to keep the place clean, doing chores and the rest. So the dynamics are different. So for me, if the numbers today are good, I'm expecting to see a larger number, or the larger numbers as compared to today for tomorrow, because I expect more people to join because there will be less activity in the morning.
In the mornings,
there will be less activities in the activity in the morning. So I expect more people to join. I know people who say, you know, we are going, productivity will be low, especially on a weekday. Today being Friday, so many people would have to go to work. Shops are closed, and that's very commendable. I must say we must commend the market women and all other people who
close their shops to
participate. You saw banks, and I'm told a number of banks have closed their banking areas. So that people
most of them will open after 1.
After 1, most of them say they open at 1. And it's good. Yes, there will be loss of productivity from the morning. Yes, you may not make so much in the afternoon, but when you compare that to the future and the kind of benefit you receive in the future, you realize that losing this amount of money or this amount of productivity for these 6 hours will be far better than losing so much in the future. We saw what happened on the 29th of June.
Yeah.
If these things or this was done before then, we wouldn't have seen something like that.
True.
So yes, there will be loss of productivity, but then economically in the future, it'll be more beneficial than it is now.
But all will go waste if it's not sustained.
That is true. That is true. The issue is sustenance. How are we going to sustain this? And you see, Nana, when people talk about sustenance and you hear the president and everybody talk about sustenance, the sanitation day was never cancelled. It was never cancelled.
Yeah.
2 months ago, I recall there was sanitation day. There's been sanitation day where you hear the announcement of sanitation day. Today, Saturday. Is it the first Saturday of the month?
The first Saturday of the month.
The sanitation day. It hasn't been cancelled. It hasn't ended. So the issue of sustenance should not be a problem. It is an issue of urging people to come out.
Right.
Educating people why they need to come out. That is the sustenance, not about organizing another day to go and do this. So that day is already been set. So let's make use of the day. Let's encourage people to join the day. Let's tell the market women who closed their shops today the importance of closing their shop every first Saturday of the month to clean. So for issue of sustenance, it is up to the authorities to create the enabling space for people to participate, to educate the people, to announce it, because sometimes you forget.
Yeah,
people do forget.
Indeed.
So
it should be more of education and encouragement
and information.
I'm asking because our video editor Kofa thinks people should be compelled to participate. She thinks the appropriate authorities should inspect affected areas on Monday to ensure the cleanup was properly carried out and the waste was correctly disposed of. And after the inspection, those who fail to participate should be fined, perhaps 1,000 cedis or more.
And there are bylaws. You see, for me, there's one thing I never understand. What Akofa is saying now, when you check our bylaws and our sanitation bylaws, a lot of these things are
in there.
addressed.
Yeah.
So why are you not making sure that these bylaws work? Why are you not enforcing the bylaws? You see, sometimes we are unable to enforce the bylaws because the assemblies themselves do not respect these laws.
Yeah.
So, for example, like you said today, there's been the cleanup. People would gather refuse in front of gutters and their homes and the rest. These refuse need to be collected and sent to where it needs to be sent to. So fire has told us the measures put in place to ensure that all these things are collected. It is the duty of the assembly to ensure that these things are collected, because I, in my house, cannot go and take this refuse and go and throw it at this point where it has been. There's a process, and there are people responsible for doing that. And the people responsible for doing that work and report to the assemblies. So those people would first need to ensure that these things are sent to where they are sent to. Then you come back to the individual who is generating the waste to come and see whether he's still generating the waste and keeping it the way he's supposed to keep it, or disposing it off illegally. Then you use the sanitation laws to address that matter and ensure that the person is punished. So it first starts, yes, we individuals, like I said initially, are the first port of call when it comes to issues of waste. But then there's a second layer, which are the people in authority.
Exactly.
And what they also do to ensure that what is needed to be done is done, and the needed or the necessary laws which need to be applied are applied. When we do that, I don't think we'll have these concerns coming up.
What needs to change? What must change so that we are not back to clearing the same debris after a year?
Attitude. Attitude. The first is attitude. The attitude of individuals in generating waste and keeping this waste and dealing with the waste. So first, attitude. Two, the authorities, people in authority. What is expected of them? Enforcement, providing the needed enabling environment to ensure that people are able to keep and put away this waste well. When we do that, we'll not get here. So one, it starts with the attitude of citizens.
Right.
And 2, authorities doing what is expected of them to ensure that this waste is collected and sent to the right place. And also enforcement of the laws. When we do all these 3 things, I don't think that we'll come back in a month or 2 or years later coming to cry about how dirty the city is, why this debt has caused so much floods leading to deaths. We won't come back here. Let's change our attitudes. Let people in authority do what is expected of them. Let's enforce the bylaws.
Very well. Fred, thank you so much. Fred Tete Jabano is the head of current affairs here at Channel One TV and City FM. Earlier, you heard from Sophia Kujoji, Chief Corporate Communications Officer of the Jospon Group of Companies. You've heard from our correspondents from various parts of the country, Charles Owusukumi, who's going around with the Zoom Lion team, Fauzu Masawudu from Alajo, and later in Jowulu. Akusia Ochri, tagging along the President, John Dramani Mahama, earlier. We heard from them in Chado and then around Alajo. Isaac Ofer with the Mayor of Accra and the Garman Chair from the Tudu areas to Agbobloshi. Nia Ikuyokai with the Greater Accra Regional Minister, Sarah Apia with the Vice President, Her Excellency Professor Nana Jane Opoku Achiman. Akwesiado from the Kaswa Enclave, the Gan South Municipality. Tofik Mohammed coming to us from the CBD area in Kumasi. Bright Yabwa from Aboabo. Mohammed M. Aminu Alabira also from the northern region. This has been our special coverage of day 1 of the National General Cleaning Exercise. This is Channel One Television. I am Nanatufu Obuaten. We have more updates for you in our subsequent programming and bulletins right here on Channel One TV. Do have a good afternoon.